Is this supposed to be like kinky or something? I don't know what I'm supposed to feel here.
I love that. That's the first thing you said. So hello everybody. Welcome to Dents, and it's me, Dread Pirate, and with me is Malmodo. Oxenius can't join us today because he's doing things that are more important. But he'll be back next time. Malmodo is figuring out what to do.
Yes, that's all right. So DM talk, I guess.
Okay.
Well, I think what to do with the DM is flexible. Players show up, players not show up. And figure out how to suddenly take a story that was supposed to be 2 people and cut it in half.
Yeah.
But it's a score because it just means you have to do less talking. Hey.
Yeah. Well, Doug's taking a nap right now, so this is the perfect time to do this.
He is unconscious, which makes this a lot easier. Like his character up and like try to chat and all this other shit.
Yeah.
It'd be so obnoxious. All right.
Yeah. Well, I figured so in regular World of Darkness, if you take all your ag damage, you're done, right? You like you let them survive like one more. And so, like, the equivalent of that would probably be, like, the -10 rule in D&20.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, like, yeah, so I would figure he's in a coma right now.
Yeah.
He needs to heal, like, a point of ag damage before he can even wake up and talk again.
Oh, gosh. It's really fast. Eddie.
What?
This guy has a Captain Marvel outfit inside of the game I play.
What, a Captain Marvel outfit?
What?
A Captain Marvel outfit?
Yeah, I'll send it to you real fast.
Okay.
I've been expounding to Eddie about how much I love Monster Hunter World and how he should enjoy it if he ever gets a chance. I'm texting to you.
I will check out Monster Hunter these days. I've heard good things. And I've been playing Onimusha Warlords PlayStation 2, and I just got killed by the fucking slider puzzle because fuck slider puzzles.
Yeah, that's someone's Captain Marvel outfit.
Yeah. Is the DC Captain Marvel or the
Marvel.
Are we talking like the new female Captain Marvel, or are we talking like classic Captain Marvel?
Not classic.
Yeah.
Well, the female one is kind of classic. She's from the 70s, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's her new shitty outfit.
Oh, she's supposed to have a different...
Alright, so here's the thing. Carol Danvers is better known as Miss Marvel. But because feminism, and because the original Captain Marvel is dead, and she is a related character, it's like it was time, so they made her Captain Marvel. And they got rid of her original outfit because, it showed her legs. That equals sexism. Whatever. And
wait, how recent is this costume?
This is like it's been going on for a couple years, about 2 years now, and it's shitty. It's especially like notice the hair. Yeah, she's like everything wrong with Marvel Comics right now. She is like this miserable, terrible, third wave feminist, bull dyke lesbian monster right now, who's a completely miserable bitch that nobody likes, but they keep pushing her. And again, before that, when she was Miss Marvel, she was actually awesome. Yeah, she showed her legs. She showed her legs and had knee-high boots, and she was hot. But she was also a strong, badass woman. She was a soldier, and she was fun. She was a cool character. And then because of feminism, we had to ruin her. So it's like, yeah. I mean, it's kind of cool someone's cosplaying, but I mean, yeah, fuck that version of her character. She's the flagship SJW Marvel character.
Look it up.
Yeah.
I'm curious about the transition of that character.
Yeah. It got pretty bad. I'm hoping that eventually when Marvel... Because I believe, you know me, the optimist. I believe eventually when Marvel straightens itself out again, they're gonna, like, say, oh, she was a Skrull the entire time! Marvel got secretly invaded. There are a bunch of feminist Skrulls everywhere. That's not the real character. I can see it happening.
I think they're up with like the times, and they're not appealing appropriately. Like,
yeah.
Problem is, We're saying nerds are very forward thinking to begin with,
Yeah.
unlike you. And
What you talk? What the? Fuck you.
but these authors don't understand an act. Like they either grab whatever feminist shows up saying that they want to write a story, or they have the authors try to write a story, and you get what happened to Miss Marvel back in the day, where she has a kid with a psychic rapist. And
was that Miss Marvel or that was another character, I think.
oh, who got the psychic rapist baby? She gave birth to him.
Oh my god, I can't remember.
Oh god,
that might have been her. I think that was someone else. Though. It was like that. That wasn't Chelle and Janos.
So much cringe.
That was an Avengers character though. That was definitely like. I'm trying to be like, was it Scarlet Witch? No, it wasn't Scarlet Witch. But it was like, yeah, there was like. I'm pretty sure that wasn't Miss Marvel. I can't remember who that was though. But was it Cersei? No, it wasn't Cersei. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I can't remember exactly like who that was though.
Oh god. There's this obnoxious. I found 3 terrible subreddits, and it just happened to pop into my face while I was scrolling here, thinking. And it was a shit status say. It's essentially like cringe anarchy, and the Dawn and a few others are just these absolute troll pages where you have these people post possibly the worst representations of Tumblrinas ever, or other people, and try to act like that's the majority. And it's just like, yeah,
it's a couple of crazy people with nothing better to do.
No, they try to vilify the people that don't agree with them while filleting themselves, and it drives me nuts.
Yeah, they're SJWs are worthless, man. Fake tits on a zombie, worthless. Telling you. But no, it was the problem with Marvel is here's the thing though. It's like Marvel was always forward thinking. They're the company that gave us X-Men. They've always been about diversity. They've always been about like everybody can be a hero. Everybody accepting each other. And then they got invaded by these assholes. What?
I think they're just trying is the thing, and that's all they can do is try until they get it right. Because yeah, you're gonna have a lot of characters dragged through the mud while they're trying, but it's also the problem of like who do they know? And if they're out there in Cali working out of that, they probably have a very not gonna say broad definition, but a very skewed definition of what those things are. And they have this crossroads of, not intersectional pronouns, I just be a. But they have this problem with the new wave feminists that are trying, I don't know why they want to appeal to them. They're actually a very small demographic. It's annoying because they're vocal, and because they're vocal, people think they're the majority.
Okay, it was Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. It was.
The majority problem, or the vocal problem, is what's causing this. Is you have plenty of normal people that are just like, this is dumb or this is poorly done, and you have the other people that are sitting in praise letters, being like, oh my God, thank you. It's so right that she should fight the patriarchy by, changing up her outfit and blah blah. It's bewildering because we're regressing. People are so trying to be different from the moment, I guess, that they're actually regressing because they're taking any direction except the direction we're going. And it doesn't mean the right direction. It just means a direction different from the one we're in. And they believe that we're going towards more patriarchy or some shit like that, and we're not. We've actually become more and more equal over time. The issue with pay and so forth withstanding.
And even then, I'm starting to think that's a myth anyway. Where there's more, it's more complex than people give it credit for, because it's there's a reason.
I want to know if it's overall, through all groups of money making, or if it's literally just inside of. I think I saw a chart talking about the pay differences between people inside of retail. And it's not different when you get into actual I have to ask for my own raises, and it's listen, guys go out there and they bug their boss for a raise, and there is a problem with view. They see women as bitchy, and they see guys as commanding or confident to do these things. Like, and I don't know how it's just a perspective of your employer, and if your employer, like, because employers don't want to pay you much to begin with, they want to pay you the least amount possible. If they could chop off your head and stick a microchip into your spinal column and have that do your job, they would.
Yeah.
And that would be the end of it. But like, so when these women go up there, they try to like cop them out by saying they're sounding bitchy, and they're like, "Oh crap! Well, I don't want to sound like a bitch in the workplace," and so they don't go ahead with it. Whereas guys, they don't have that reinforcement. No one's like, "You're being a dick," and that's a bad thing for a guy. It's like, "Oh yes, you're being a dick. You're being pointed and forceful and trying to get your way, and etc." And it's like, yes, that's what a guy does. Okay. And it's like these perspectives, though, aren't going to change unless we actually fight the basis of them, that women have to be the gentler sex, that women can't complain about this or that. But it also has to go in line with what makes a good human. Like, for the longest time, women were taken care of. They had given them a lot of leeway. It's also because guys want to fuck them. Like, if women were just as slutty as men, I don't think we'd ever have another problem again. No, didn't mean to rhyme, nor did I mean that entirely. But the issue lying there is that, like, you know, guys want to fuck them so that they'll put up with a lot of bullshit. There's never a case where a girl puts up a lot of shit for a guy because she wants to fuck him outside of an actual crush. But I'm talking like all guys. Like, if a chick is like putting up with shit from all guys because they want to be fucked, it's like, yeah, you can make the loneliness argument. Some chicks will just be walked on because they're lonely. But there's guys like that. Like, you know, you don't have. I mean, you know, both sexes have their own downfalls, I guess. But going back to it, though, there's always a guy out there that'll fuck that chick and want to fuck them so much that they'll put up with bullshit, that they'll kowtow and all these other things, instead of just being like, no, there's fucking 5 billion of y'all. Like, I could find a different one that's not a piece of shit.
Yeah.
So when we start addressing that, women will have to come out of that immaturity, which comes with the favors given. Secondly, it does come with a lot of bullshit, like guys wanting to fuck you that aren't guys you want to fuck back is a really big problem. Yet for some odd reason, for guys, girls wanting to fuck you that you don't want to fuck back, not only being rare, but also, like, you know, just something comedic. Girls act like it's a goddamn shot in the foot. I think it's because they value themselves based upon what they can draw in.
There's a lot of complexity to it in terms of, like, the whole pay gap thing. There's a lot of different reasons for it. There's certain jobs women won't do or have no inclination to do, like
maybe trash collector,
serious construction. Women take time out for maternity. Men do very physical jobs. Women often do very social jobs. It's just kind of how we're wired. There's a lot of complexity to it, and they try to make it out like we're living in the 40s and women are still in the kitchen and we haven't been for 60 years. And it's I mean, as for Marvel, it's like they just had this invasion. They just, like, people stopped paying attention because people were like the movies were doing well. So they just got all these crazy far left people in that just basically took over and act like they're not really comic book fans. And that's the thing. It's like you said before. They complain to the company, so the company hires these people thinking they're doing a good job instead of focusing on just writing good stories. It's like they need a strong person at the top who's like, no, we know what actually sells, we know our market, and that's what we need to do. So it's like, it's going to get better because
that's how you remain profitable. The issue that they have, though, is that they're listening to every voice. You don't listen to every voice ever.
Yeah.
That curve from far left to far right, it goes all over the place in the interim.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when you go far left, they actually go all the way around. It's actually a circle. Far left and far right start believing in the same shit for some reason.
Oh yeah, because they're fed up with both sides because it's like their rhetoric is the same. It's like, you know, they're full of shit.
Center curve. They need to look at what normal people are into, and it's like, yeah, they want to see tits and they want to see burly dudes, and they want to, like, you know, you could have dudes kiss, dudes get married, you can have lesbians. Everybody wants. No one really cares. You're going to lose like maybe 0.5% of your audience. To those
it's all in how they go about it. It's like a lot of what they did was like a slap in the face to like stuff that was previously established. Like, I called this when they made Iceman gay. making Iceman gay was the stupidest fucking thing they could have done. And he's not gay. It's like there's like, oh well, he doesn't. We don't really see him with women all that much. It's like he's been with tons of women. He was with Kitty. He was with Polaris. He's like kind of like he's the icy version of Johnny Storm. He's got a different.
You don't have to be gay from the start to be gay. You can date women first.
Yeah, but it doesn't like they're acting like he was like really in the closet this entire time, and they didn't tell a story for that. They didn't do a really good job with it. They just revealed, oh, he's been gay this entire time. It's like no, it's going against what's previously established for the character.
There, okay. Well, I mean, it's because mostly that people bitch if they just add on a new guy. It's like the same thing with Zulu. They made Zulu gay because Takai's gay, and Takai's like, that's fucking bullshit. Zulu's a heterosexual man. This is stupid. But they can't just add on a new guy and make him the quirky homosexual or the colorful fucking, homosexual, I should say.
Here's the thing, though. I think they should, because it's like a lot of these crazy SJW people are all like, oh, there's not enough gay in comics, not enough this in comics. Okay, asshole, write a fucking book. Write your own comic. And the fact of the matter is, their shit doesn't sell. It doesn't. Well, they are a minority that doesn't appeal to anybody. And that annoys the fuck out of them. There was something else like Red Letter Media was talking about. They were I think I saw the review of Solo or something like that, and there was like they were like looking at an interview with some woman who was like, oh, we don't see women in the movies ever. We never see women in the movies. Like we see women in the movies all the fucking time. It's like women are literally 50% of the population. We see women all the time. This is like the same year Wonder Woman came out. This stupid woman said this, and it's like there you go. The freaking like the greatest female superhero of all time got a movie, and it was actually decent. We've had, if you go back in the 80s, you've got Ripley, you've got Linda Hamilton from Terminator. It's like there's tons of female superheroes. There's tons of movies just starring women. It's like they act like they never get in a movie, and it's all bullshit. It's all just propaganda.
That's observational bias. Like they sit there and they see that, like Mad Max. Mad Max is a flawless film. Fury Road, I'll sit there and I'll jerk off to it all the time.
Me too.
And I'll jerk off to it.
Let's record that for the internet for all the time. You and I like to jerk off to Fury Road. Oftentimes we're in the same room, looking at each other.
I reach over, I help you, you help me. Call it the buddy system.
There's nothing gay about that. There's nothing. It's just I need help. I mean,
we love the movie so much that we can appreciate it. Tools in hand.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but anyhow, I'm gonna stop you because you're killing me. I know. I don't think we're gonna probably end up doing that. We'll just have like the bitching of two nerds is what you're gonna call this.
This is the warm up. The warm up is just a bitch for about 20 minutes. We always do this. Besides you and your you got to keep you focused.
It's impossible to keep me focused because we've got me on a good tear. Eddie, I think you have the same problem that these people have, and that is a limited field of vision when it comes down to it. Because you're hearing you're seeing admittedly Marvel is shooting itself in the foot by trying to pander to these SJWs.
But the movies are fun, at least for now.
Yeah.
There's some concern that once they introduce Miss Marvel, or Captain Marvel, it's going to start going downhill. Hopefully it won't, but it all depends on how they go about it.
That's fine by me. Superhero movies are played out in my books.
Well, that's the thing. Here's the thing. It's like a double-edged sword for me because it's like I want us to get through Infinity War Part 2. But here's the thing. We just got Spider-Man back. We just got the X-Men back. I've been waiting for this for years. No! You need to make good X-Men movies now. Better than the ones 20th Century Fox made. I want Wolverine as a member of the Avengers. No! Don't you fuck this up now.
It's Eddie.
They've already fucked up Star Wars. They already fucked Star Wars in the ass.
Eddie. The reason why everything sucks right now is because it has
raped my childhood. Go ahead,
Eddie. It has no character. It has no soul. It is all there to get $1. They have all these nostalgia throws, and that's why Marvel is still good because it has some soul. You could tell that people care and they want people to like it, so they're trying.
All you have to do is care a little bit, and I'll give you all the money in the world.
They're just trying to cash in on Star Wars, though. When Spider-Man Homecoming came out, It's an entirely different movie from the Tobey Maguire movie. There's no homages in there to the Tobey Maguire movie.
Yeah.
There might be a few like small things. Like I think Sam Raimi might have nods and tips of the hats, and that's it. But there's a difference between a tip of the hat versus what Star Wars did with New Hope, where they're just like, we have to bring back the Millennium Falcon.
You mean
Get another. Have Dash Rendar show up. Shit. Have someone else besides the original 4 people from the last 3 movies show up.
Well, they did. Like, they made these horrible original characters that nobody likes.
Yeah, but is Star Wars the history of the Skywalkers? Does that entire universe only exist because of the Skywalkers? And it's like, no, you have Thrall, or Thrawn. Is his name Thrawn?
Yeah. His name is Thrawn. His name is Thrawn.
Yeah, you have a lot of interesting characters, and if you played like Knights of the Old Republic, there's obviously material there to do whatever the hell you want with.
All they had to do was make good movies. All they had to do was take all the treasure trove that George gave to Kathleen, and all she had to do was make movies based on it. That's all she had to do. But no, she wanted to do something different, and she wanted to push her agenda. And what's the real shame of it is Force Awakens had potential. Force Awakens, it was like the 4 main characters, the 3 new characters in Force Awakens, I felt were interesting enough, and they could have done something with them, and they immediately just shot themselves in the foot.
That's all fucking, what's his face? Lost kid.
It's Ryan Johnson. I also think it's Kathleen Kennedy, too. She had this
J.J. Abrams can make a paper bag interesting because he likes to use the mystery tactic. Like I said, J.J. Abrams has no substance.
Yeah, once you start trying, it's all about marketing with him. That's the thing.
And find out what's underneath all of it, there's nothing there. It's just literally talks about it too. It's just his mystery box. And it's like, what's in the box? What's in the box? And it's like, once you find out it's your severed wife head, that removes all the mystery. You know what's going on. So instead, he keeps perpetuating. What's in the box? What's in the box?
Yeah, and it's like, I know what's in the box. The box is going to be a cheap but adequately enjoyable movie. I know. Well, he's dead to me. JJ's dead to me. I always had a feeling JJ Abrams was a dickhead, and now with this, like the moment he called me sexist for not liking Last Jedi, it's like, all right, I'm done with you, fucker. I'm done. I ain't seen any more of your Cloverfield movies, asshole. So yeah.
I didn't in on that. I thought it was only Ryan Johnson and fucking other dweebs.
Well, there's a collection of douchebags. No, like there's like Freddie Jr. opened his fucking mouth and made a goddamn fool of himself. It's like yeah, a lot of people that's the thing. Part of the problem was
why these people think they can fight the fans. Like there's tens of thousands, if not millions, of fans, and there are these people that are literally just stepping in fresh on the scene. And like George Lucas knew what was up. He was like, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
Like, he was like, this thing has gotten too
minutes out of. Check out the Charlie Rose interview. The Charlie Rose interview with him is really good. It's really good and very insightful. Okay, it's 23 minutes. Dents.
It's been 12.
It doesn't feel. It's 23 minutes of us ranting. Let's focus. Let's focus.
Come on. You know these people don't listen for the game; they listen for our bullshit.
Yes, like warm up is philosophy with Malmodo and Dread Pirate. But so last we met, Shelley had entered Janos' boudoir, dragging a bleeding and burned dog across the floor into his room, and Janos said basically like that he knows someone who can heal him. And so she's dragging him across the floor, and then finally she says, "Could you help me?"
Searching stuff. I don't think we got that far. I think I had Janos complaining that you guys came into his house.
Yes, and then she told him to shut up, and can you heal him? And he said, I can't heal him, but I know someone who can. It's like, all right, good. And she's dragging him across the floor as we speak.
All right. Yes, we
did
have
she looks up and says, could you pick him up, please? He's very heavy.
Oh, you're talking in character?
Yes.
Hold on. I'm getting out my stuff because I actually was more interested in talking shit about the current state of affairs than I was.
Malmodo, we're going to make really good old guys. We're really good old guys who just make shit.
I am an old guy.
Yeah.
Younger than you somehow.
Yes.
Alright. Oh, I was actually managing my files today, and putting them in proper spots, so it takes a little while to open shit.
That fucking slider puzzle, I hate it. I hate it so much. There's no room. Because, like, if you just could save before it so you could do it again, it would be great. But no. I was having fun killing things, but no. I drowned. The stupid slider puzzle.
Wait, you were playing the game again?
No, I was playing it earlier when you were with Monster Hunter.
Which game?
Animusha, Warlords. Season 2.
I don't remember most of it. I remember, like, getting the Shippu and being like, double-bladed sword. So
it's really cool. It's crazy how, like, the game gives you two really good weapons, like, one after the other, and then makes you wait for that.
Yeah.
It's like, but,
it's an okay weapon. It's not the best. I don't know, maybe it's okay. I can't remember. I haven't played in so long. Like, God, I think I played that game back in, like, 16 years ago. Shit.
Yeah.
How old is that? Something like 02, ain't it?
Yeah. Still got my PlayStation 2.
And I remember playing it at some fat bitch in his house. There was this person we were friends with. Turned out to be a horrible cunt. Fun time.
Is this a horrible cunt that I know?
No, we don't know her.
Oh, yeah. I think I know who you're talking about, then.
No, you don't. You never met her. You never got to.
Oh, okay.
This is back 18. This is about 6 years before I met you.
Okay. I have not met this one.
I am digging through my stuff.
Okay.
Let's see.
I'm going to get another drink.
Yes, do so. I found the stuff I was going to put in Doug's books. Still. Boss was super pissed today that I wasn't working. I had to wait on a computer fucking Windows installation.
I also found my copy of Bucky the Vampire Slayer Chaos Bleeds. That's an awesome game, too.
Oh, it's a Vampire Slayer game. Okay. Let me get my cords uncorded.
It's so much fun. It's just staking vamps.
Really? Is it like fast vampire murdering?
You get to play as a bunch of characters from the show. You get to play as Xander.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of vampires in it.
Of course, they got vampires in it. She's a vampire slayer.
There are a lot. Like, is there over 100?
Probably, yeah.
Could you imagine how fast vampire population would get out of control? Even if you had like a town of 10 million people with 100 vampires.
That's why Sunnydale is a shithole. That's the problem. They keep coming to fucking Sunnydale and biting people. And, and it just got out of control. She had to deal with this crazy fucking hellmouth, man. Fucking hellmouth.
Okay. But I was just curious because, like, when you have predators, you have, like, all these different tiers up to the apex predator. And then it ends up being, like, for every lion, you have to have, like, fucking 50,000 rats or some shit.
Well, it's California, so, it's Sunnydale. It's got the whole Mary Maid thing where they cover up how many people die there. So people keep moving in.
Just people keep moving in. Like, man, these houses just keep coming onto the market here.
Yeah. Well, again, season 3, you had The Wish, where like that was the world where Buffy never came to Sunnydale, and like the Master had taken over, and it was like this. It was like a mini version of Nosgoth from Legacy of Kain. He had like, I mean, he was like 2 steps from like blotting out the sun with like pollutants. He was. It was pretty crazy.
Sun?
Well, like
with his arrows?
No. I'm confusing vampire lore with Legacy of Kain right now.
Yeah.
So,
Legacy of Kain has got some great lore.
Yeah. Okay.
Let me get this in because I'm not focusing properly.
Okay.
So, Doug's unconscious. We know that.
Yes.
Janos is supposed to help you drag him there, and he's just like, no. But yeah, actually, he would. No, hold on, he would. I'm sorry. He does still like that character for some reason.
Yeah.
It's so hard to see why anyone likes Doug. It feels so big because I feel like I'm talking crap about Exentius. So, god damn it.
I'm fine with talking crap about Exentius. There's like plenty of... Look, he wanted to become addicted to rocks. Okay? I don't think he understands how the world of darkness works.
I mean, it's probably because, like, you know, he had all that D&D time before.
Yes.
Where it's like, he lets you do whatever the balls you feel.
Yeah. Oh, this is my fault. Thanks.
Well, no, it's D&D's fault. D&D doesn't have actual character development or anything like that, or emotions tied to the characters. It just has, hey, do you want to swing this axe at the goblin? Which is why I constantly mock it.
Yeah. No, Doug is straight out of D&D. He's very much like...
He does feel like a D&D-esque character more so than a real person.
Yeah. So,
like, they're the ones that's like, you know, I'm just going to fight the entire bar. And it's like, really? And it's like, yeah, everyone loves a good brawl. And I'm like, really? When's the last time you got punched in the face and liked it?
Welcome to Earth. Welcome to World of Darkness, Earth. We don't do things like that here.
I thought you were making an Independence Day reference. Welcome to Earth.
Welcome to Earth. That's what I call a close encounter.
Oh, God. What is that voice? You just pulled out like Southern Gentry to do Will Smith.
That was, yeah. He's got a cigar in his mouth.
No, he's talking like Will Smith though. He's not. You're sitting there sounding like more like Foghorn Leghorn.
Now I say. That is what I call a close encounter.
Yes.
Now, boy, I say boy. Now, boy.
Hey, don't use boy after talking about black people. You know better.
Can I use it for talking about furries? We got Fox Boys. We got a Fox Boy on the screen right now.
Oh man, we want to talk about Fox Boys. We can do that all day.
We got Strong Boys. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom Boys, and it had spiky boys. It had armored boys. It had the yellow boy. The yellow boy was the best.
Yellow boy?
The yellow boy. He's the boss. He's the Indoraptor. He's the yellow boy.
God damn it.
Okay.
No, wait. It's because his antithesis was blue. Because primary colors, motherfucker.
Yes. Together they'll make the green boy.
You know what? I want them to make the green boy now and have it just be stupidly powerful.
They're gonna make something fucking ridiculous, I swear. You know, this is like. Have you ever seen the Anaconda movies?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I saw those in theaters.
Okay. No, you don't understand. There's sequels to Anaconda.
Yeah, Blood Orchid.
Yeah. There's a sequel to Blood Orchid. They started genetically. Yeah, there's like 3 and 4, and like the freaking Anaconda starts becoming like a genetic monster with like a healing factor.
Genetic monstrosities.
Yeah, it like has like a spiny thing that it can shoot out of its tail, and like Phalis did a great review of it. It basically like it heals. Like it got its head blown off, and its head regrows. It's fucking Cell. It's an anaconda snake that is Cell from Dragon Ball Z. You have to destroy every cell to kill it.
Really?
Yeah.
It's Reptilicus. You've seen Reptilicus, right? Classic movie.
I've seen bits of I've seen bits and pieces of Reptilicus.
Jesus, that's so silly. I know what's worse is there's nothing that can do that, especially with speed. Like, you can have a Planaria regrow its head, but that thing's a simple organism. Like, you know what's really creepy? I think, no, that was they mixed up the insides of let's think. Yeah, they were able to prove that butterflies retain their fear from when they were a caterpillar. But I'm trying to remember if they could determine if the planarian had memories of when it was, before its head got cut off, essentially.
That's interesting.
Yeah, science is awesome. Stupid fake science is stupid and fucking dumb. Like,
I would appreciate. I mean, I'm fine with stupid science. I don't know. No, I'm not. I can't finish that sentence.
Yeah, you better not.
That's why I hate Prometheus so much, because Prometheus has stupid science in it.
You.
I mean, look, I'm all for stuff that is fantastical, that doesn't make sense, like faster than light travel or anything like that. But it's like, at least like when you're basing it off of real science, at least do a little bit of research.
These people were like told long time ago. This is why they make these movies so bad. They were told a while ago, is like, as long as it's a self-contained universe, it doesn't matter how much sense it doesn't make. You ever hear that?
I'm sure. Yeah, I've heard. No, there was a guy that there was this guy that was debating the Dishonored Wolf and Waller, who was like arguing that this is a Disney fanatical Star Wars universe. He was talking about the Last Jedi. So in the Disney fanatical Star Wars universe, Princess Leia can fly through space. It's like, can we accept that in this version of Star Wars that it works that way? And it's like no, we can't, because it's stupid. It doesn't, just because they made their universe retarded does not justify what they did.
Well, no, the guy's trying to make an excuse. He's not trying to justify anything. He's saying because it's Disney's now, the rules that have been apparent inside of Star Wars since its inception have changed.
Yeah.
And admittedly, Star Wars has changed over the years. I mean, fucking the prequels. I mean, goddamn.
Yeah.
And, but, that changed really nothing about the actual science and interworkings of the universe of Star Wars.
Yeah.
That all stayed relatively the same. They were just like, what people didn't ask for? Explanations. And we're going to give them to them.
Yeah.
Like, that's all that happened there. But inside of Disney's fucking fiascos, flaming piles of unfortunateness, they had encountered this problem of being like, man, we want to reinvent it. And I'm like, I'm sorry, did you say reinvent Star Wars, you stupid fuck?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. We didn't. That's not what we ordered. We wanted them to make good Star Wars movies. That's what we ordered. And I guess we got 2 of them, or 1.5. But even then, I'm reaching the point where, look, I enjoy Force Awakens and Rogue One for what they are. However, if it means like getting rid of all the crap that we've gotten, I'll say goodbye to it. I'll say goodbye to those, because if I have to scorch the earth to get the original expanded universe back, I'll gladly do it.
All right, I know you're that kind of guy. Like, Rogue One was a good movie though. Like, I can't fault it in its design or its presentation. So, like, for me, it helped where Star Wars was lacking. Like, how do you have this gigantic galactic empire dump God knows how much of their whatever currency they use into this project, but have it have this little incidental flaw in its design? And it's like, it's not by incident that it exists. It's very intentional. And, like, they pulled out this entire great story for it. They did add some fluff that I didn't like the Force is with me and I'm the Force or whatever.
I like
that one.
But I like Donnie Yen, so I mean.
They turned the Force into this wide sweeping element of the universe. Everybody could be touched by the Force if they just believe hard enough.
Well, no, I mean, the thing is, it's I believe Chirrut is actually a Jedi. I believe Chirrut wasn't actually a Jedi. It's like he was not admitting he was a Jedi. But I might be fan theorizing. But it's like the thing. But no, we have way back in episode 4, back in the original Star Wars, the Force is an energy field that binds and surrounds the universe. It's a part of everything.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not. That's fine. It's just like, but it requires certain people. You have to have training in order to use it, and Chirrut clearly had training.
Metachlorian count. That's what ends up happening from the prequels. So they tell you that metachlorians are great indicators of the Force prevalence in somebody. Yeah. Like, it's not about your training and so forth. Like, there is a possibility that Anakin would have just started being influenced by the Force just because he's so connected with it innately.
Here's the thing, the metachlorian thing, Lucas was trying to fix that in, like, the Clone Wars cartoon with the whole, there was some kind of, like, microscopic entities called the, forgot what they were called, but they were the wills. They were called the wills. And I think the wills were, it was playing with the idea that it's a microscopic life form, but it's still a mystical thing. And it was like the wills, I think it might be implied that they're living embodiments of the Force, or they're like, they may be like long dead Jedi that are now one with the Force and can still like speak to people and train them and help them. And it was like the episode with that actually looks really, really cool. And we are getting off topic because now we're talking about Star Wars. So okay, back on topic, sir. Back on topic. I'm gonna have to fucking put the shit in the description and say, people, hey, you're gonna have to wait for 40 minutes. Stop at the 40-minute mark to actually fucking hear us play a game.
I was just willing to hang out. Alright, so you're really dead set on the game.
Yes. I mean, if you want, let's make this 2 separate videos, and this is like just like the Dents pre-show. And
the Dents.
Let's do that.
Two ask their opinion on movies for God knows how long.
Okay.
Alright.
Okay. Alright, check the next video for should I do that? Or should I just like stop and do new ones? Fuck it, no, let's keep going.
Okay. I was gonna say though, it's like an event. I have not chatted out about this. The problem is we haven't hung out in person in an age.
Yeah.
So I've touted this bullshit with you.
Yeah.
So I'm full of bullshit. I haven't gotten all my Eddie shit out.
Yeah.
Alright. So I still have been in the background of my mind tumbling around with what to do here. I'm probably going to have to leave Douglas unconscious for the time being.
That's fine. I'm assuming he's in a coma right now.
Oh, he's definitely in something. But, it's time for him to have his fever dreams.
Yes.
Sitting there playing Yu-Gi-Oh! In his empty backpack.
Fucking weeb. There'll just be naked women just like crawling all over him, wanting to have sex with him. He's like, not right now, I'm playing a game.
Yu-Gi-Oh! You know what? That's going to be the fucking dream. He hasn't watched it. And he just comes back in. You're like, you have this dream that you're covered in naked, attractive women. He's like, oh, that sounds like, but you're not having sex with them. You just want to play Yu-Gi-Oh! He's like, yes. You sit there gripping your cards feverishly, trying to figure out if you can get Exodia out by using Jar of Greed and some other shit.
And you're also sitting on a mountain of rocks, and you're demanding the women go and get you more rocks. And they just leave and just get fed up with you.
And you're all alone with your Yu-Gi-Oh cards, but you are happy.
I've got time, wizard.
I've got time. Alright, so trying to focus, trying to think. Because I now have to, like, I had an idea where I was taking this.
Okay.
But I also, like, I'm not gonna lie, I've been trying to, like, flesh out his character so hard to be more than burly man who likes fucking rocks.
I mean, you can only do so much, dude. I mean, that's,
like,
at the end of the day, that is that is Oxentius's problem.
His modus operandi is to fuck up people's games by being a fucking weird ass character.
You know what? Whatever you do, I'm honestly just don't give him wish spells. Don't give him access to anything remotely altering reality.
That's not what I do, Eddie. I'm not dumb. I don't make decisions like giving somebody with a, what's the word to describe it? I guess moronic mentality about wish. For one, I know how wish is supposed to be used. Wish is only supposed to grant you up to 10,000 GP's worth of stuff. You couldn't summon God with wish. But for some odd reason, you let him. And that's on you, Eddie. That's all you.
I regret nothing, sir.
I know you don't regret. Eddie,
no, you wish you didn't dare to dream the way I dream. You didn't dare to push wish to the limits. You wish you had this big, beautiful, sexy Thanos with the gauntlet in your game, and you don't. And he's mine. He's all mine, and you can't have him. You can't have him.
I'm gonna put Thanos in this game now. Just fuck you.
I'm gonna read. You know what? I'm gonna read Thanos' stats right now. I'm gonna read his stats to you. Okay, he has a strength of 150. He has a dexterity of 111, a constitution of 124.
Is this with the gauntlet?
With the gauntlet, yes. Intelligence of 103 got reduced by acid cost. A wisdom of 115, a charisma of 35, an appearance of 28, and 573 sanity points.
Only appearance 28? That's unfortunate.
That's his lowest stat. It's still like he's dead sexy because he's Josh Brolin Thanos, so he's just like ripped and just awesome, and like bring a smile. He's got that Josh Brolin charisma going on.
I didn't know Josh Brolin had charisma, but I only saw him as Cable.
Josh Brolin is America's sweetheart. He is fucking awesome.
America's sweetheart? What?
He is America's sweetheart.
He does seem like a fun dude.
Yeah, he's cool.
He
was Brand from the Goonies.
What?
He was in the Goonies.
He was?
He was Sean Astin's older brother, Brand. He was Brand from the Goonies. That was like his first movie. One of his first movies.
He was in the Goonies as the guy with the
he was the kid that got tied up with his like workout equipment.
That guy? Oh
yeah.
My god.
That's Josh Brolin. And now he's Thanos.
No.
I love Josh Brolin. Have you ever seen Into the Wild?
They're trying to make him look old, or is it because I remember when he was in Men in Black 3, because that movie had to exist. And
I haven't even seen Men in Black 3.
Oh, don't worry, you didn't miss anything.
Alright, okay. Malmodo?
What?
Stand down. Eyes on the road. We're dragging Doug.
I've got to get this RP in. You won't stop.
You promised me. I need my fix.
Give it to me, Daddy. I need it.
Spank me.
Okay. What? No. I'm not going to laugh for your audience. They don't deserve it.
Yes.
Oh,
do it.
All right. Shut up.
And Malmodo has a psychotic episode.
No, you're not going to have my laughter on your thing. Someone's going to eventually find it on the internet, and I'm going to be on that fucking Reddit portion.
Oh my
where
god, dude, you are so memeable. Your laugh is so memeable. We're doing that.
No.
Yes.
Eddie. That's all I can say is no. I'm not going to end up like, dude.
You're going to wind up in like a Red Letter Media episode.
Oh, God. If I was on there, I'd be mildly pleased, because I do laugh my ass off to that.
Yeah.
Those guys, every now and again, they're funny, but only Plinkett's the really funny one, unfortunately.
I think they're really funny at best of the worst. You just see them like bullshitting with each other. They're hilarious.
I got this lust for dark comedy, and they sit around and they like barely like put their foot in it like it's a kiddie pool, and Plinkett's like, hold on a minute, let me get the real dark comedy out, and it's just, it feels so good. All right, gonna rub
it. Pretty dark. They like, but I don't know. I like seeing them like fart around with and make fun of each other. Anyway.
Yes. Anyways.
All right, we're dragging Doug.
All right, so let me get inside of my head for a minute.
Okay.
So Janos, he makes his snide remark and all that stuff on entering. But then he sees the state of Doug, and he's actually somewhat concerned. And he says, all right, I got someone that could help him. And you see him stop and sort of look around for a moment. And then he goes, oh, shit, she's not here. Okay, well, there's something else I'll have to do. Why do you have to be so big? So he picks him up by one arm, and he looks at you and gives you like that, come on, look.
Okay, I lift him up with the other arm, and we're carrying Doug like he's drunk.
Yeah. Yes, you carry him like a drunk Russian or German.
Yeah.
And luckily for you, it's not too far. He takes you down like another stairwell. It doesn't lead you to the room with Harold is in, so you still don't know that Harold exists. But nonetheless,
yeah.
You end up like again the stairway twists as you walk down it, and suddenly what would have been like your right wall is now the floor.
Okay.
And the room that he takes you to is just this immaculate patterned tile that Doug is just bleeding all over. But it's a rather extravagant room.
Mm-hmm.
And it's filled with all these things. Just weird looking shit. There's things in jars moving to look at you. There's just like these, even you with your almost non-existent power can get the sense or impression that there's like a rather extravagant amount of energy coming off of them.
So and, like the little alien critters, basically, right?
No, not the creatures. The fucking shit in the room. This room is just filled with stuff.
Oh, so
and
like magic items.
There's living things, there's non-living things. There's just stuff. And it's on podiums. It's like this large freaking museum that you just walked into out of nowhere.
Okay.
And he leads you towards a back case. And in the back of the room where this case is, there's it's along a wall. There's multiple shelves. And Janos is hesitant about it.
Janos is what?
Hesitant about it. Like he sets Doug down against like the case, and he says something quietly like, "I'm sorry" to Doug.
Okay.
And he opens up the case with like running his hand along the edge of it, along a certain like somewhat darkened panel.
Mm-hmm.
And it opens it up. It's obviously not biometrics, but nonetheless, it's something sophisticated that prevents others from getting in.
Okay.
Or maybe things are getting out. As he opens the case, you can see that it's filled with different colored stone, rocks that is. And, Doug would be happy if he was conscious. But
rocks! I wish it was rock cocaine. That's what it's supposed to be.
You want to be on drugs?
Yeah, you picked addiction. That's what it's supposed to be. You're into drugs. No, I'm addicted to ordinary rocks.
It's a weird obsession.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, whatever. So, there's multiple colored rocks in there of varying sizes and so forth. But he picks out a obsidian. Not obsidian. I don't want to go as this obsidian. It's too, what can I say, boring and common. I'm going to say basalt. Basalt might work, actually. It's a black and dull. But he picks out a dull, non-glossy rock, essentially. Like, yeah, you wouldn't suspect anything about it if you didn't have the ability to perceive on the level that you do.
Okay.
And from what you perceive, you can feel a presence to the rock. And Janos says, "Well, I hope they get along." And he just jabs the rock into his open chest wound.
Okay.
To which, even though unconscious, Doug makes a noise too. And, everything is still for a while. And Janos looking kind of like frustrated, but also, like unhappy with the situation. I guess frustrated and unhappy are the same thing. But he turns to you and he says, "Okay, well, we're going to have to leave them to talk. Why don't you and I take a walk?"
Yeah, I think we should. Is he going to be okay? Is he
That depends on him.
Well, I don't know first aid or anything like that. I'm not sure what's.
He ain't gonna wake up for a while, that's for sure.
But he's not gonna die.
He shouldn't,
I mean, I did all I can at this moment. He's a tough guy, I guess. I mean, the looks of it, he's alive somehow, despite whatever's happened to him. Like, Jesus. Like, he really takes in, like, the state that Doug's in with all the piercings and weird tattoos and just crap drawn over him. But then, like, looking closer at the tattoos, he stops and he just frowns and he says, "Walk with me." And he starts going back towards
I walk with him.
Okay.
I mean, if he's going to be okay here, I may need to. I mean, I don't expect you to help me necessarily, but I mean, it's I need to find out where the Order are holding Eddie.
And so the Order doesn't have your friend.
Well, then who does? I thought that thing was working for the Order.
The Order doesn't have things. Well, it does. It has constructs, but they don't behave like this.
Then what was that thing?
They're a lot more brutally efficient. Like, they would have just burned you out. They wouldn't have. Alright. He sighs, rubs his brows. Just as you crawl up the stairs, he stops at one of his chairs and he sits down in it. And he rubs his neck and he looks to be deep in thought. And he says, I did a bad job of dealing with you the first time. I mean, yeah, we're both at fault here, but whatever. However, I should have told you that there's a lot to this world that. All right. Well, okay.
Go on. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
All right. He seems a bit flustered because he's not angry with you. He's more like angry about the situation.
Okay.
But that's if you can tell. Nonetheless, he's
while she's talking to him, she starts reloading her handgun. And
okay.
Yeah, just go ahead, keep talking.
He eyes you warily as you load it because it's just odd to him.
I'm pointing it away from him. I'm not. Yeah.
I know, but it's like guns.
Yeah.
But
barbaric devices.
No, don't give me that Obi-Wan bullshit. Oh, General Kenobi. No. Oh god, now I got the memes in my head. But so he Janos is obviously unhappy about something. But he says, like, I didn't express to you how dangerous everything has become for you. It's not like the Order, they were after you because of the parasites. Those things can spread. Now, they don't spread to most people. What was it called? There's a special word I like to use for it. Oh, it's on my phone. Where's my phone? Oh, it's in my hand. God,
okay.
I used to having my headset. All right, let me pull up the picture because I had the word I need.
Okay.
Or did I find it not on my phone? This is the problem. Having multiple devices that you use. Yes, here it is. The Vox Populi.
Vox Populi.
Vox Populi.
Vox
Populi is Latin for the voice of the people. But anyhow, he says the Vox Populi is what usually prevents these things from growing out of control, unless someone is of a discordant tone. And by that I mean, they're just vulnerable to not thinking normally and stuff like that. So those people can become problematic and symptomatic of regression and other things. But nonetheless, I doubt that's a problem. I mean, you somehow got cleaned up, and that's good. But, yeah. What happened here is from the other.
The other.
Yes. I'm sure you're quite familiar with Judeo-Christian concept.
Heaven and hell and all that?
Yeah, like the devil.
Yeah.
Well, let's just say the other has more in common with Lucifer than God, but probably has the power of the former, or the latter. Sorry, the latter.
So it's the devil, but it's got the power of God.
Well, not precisely to say that it's just a ridiculously powerful thing that you have no chance against. Though I would say you have no chance against it, quite frankly.
Does
but
anybody have a chance against it?
The Order. I mean, they're the ones that essentially have kept it at bay. But, I mean, that goes way back into the silence and so forth. But yes, that's just errata. You don't need to know all that. But yes, it's seemingly interested in you.
Why me? Because of the parasites?
No, it could care less about those. It's not. It doesn't care what's happening to the what could happen to the population at large. It is beyond those things. You're going to encounter that a lot. It's just things that don't have human concerns or needs or even feelings. They're just not people-like, even though they're cognizant. But yes, that's just unnecessary too. However, I can't say that the interest of the other brings you to great danger. Like, possibly greater than the Order, considering that the Order at least acts within a certain realm or a certain way.
Okay, so this faceless thing worked for the other.
Yes.
Okay. And it's after me, and it doesn't care about the parasites.
No, it does not.
Well, so...
I don't know.
Alright, so if it's... Does the other personally get involved, or does it send agents to do its bidding?
It rarely has reason to be personally involved. The legions that it commands are quite effective at what they want to, at accomplishing its goals.
Alright, well... So that thing was taking orders from one of its members. So where's its boss? Like in...
He's got his own gap somewhere.
Okay. Would that be where he's got Eddie? How do I get there?
Eddie. Oh, your friend. I'm sad to say you're not going to recover him.
You know that for a fact?
Well, considering that your friend, or excuse me, Douglas is currently in possibly dire straits over this entire incident, I'm gonna assume that he had some reason to drag one of y'all into it and the other one came along. And since you're saying that it's this Eddie character, I can surmise that he has your friend. And if he has your friend, he has probably been, one way or another, just the whole... I ain't gonna go into details. But
you're saying he's already dead?
Oh, most likely, yes. It doesn't have, like, a need to carry... Excuse me, hold on, I'm voicing this wrong. Janos, he readjusts in his chair. He's actually not seemingly comfortable talking about this.
Is there another chair in here too?
The other doesn't care about life. It doesn't care about what means it does, or what the means of its actions to get what it wants.
Yeah, I had a feeling. He'd probably be already dead.
But, you tell me what happened to Doug, like how he ended up like that, and I'll be able to fill in the blanks, probably.
Yeah.
Oh, right, you wouldn't know. Your character wasn't present for Doug's stupid assery.
No, we really need Oxenius.
Yeah, and nor was your character. No, your character also wasn't there for Doug's. Like, Doug didn't text him. Doug's like, I'll just go there and check it out myself without telling her. And I'm just like, yes! Yes! Your character.
What she says is like, well, I told him to meet me at the tattoo parlor. I wound up calling that thing or whatever its boss was, and asked where he wanted to meet. And he said wherever you want, and so I figured the tattoo parlor. And when I got there, he was in a tattoo chair, and like that Slender Man thing had basically tattooed all over his body. Put all these all those piercings in there. He actually pierced them to the table. And then
I asked you what a Slender Man is.
What's that?
He asks you what a Slender Man is.
Well, that monster, whatever it was, it had no face. It was really tall. I mean, there's some kind of monster on the internet that, like, I assume it's fictional. It looks kind of like that. I don't know what it is.
He says an imposter. Yeah, those things are obviously in its employ. Yes. Well, I can tell you that it wasn't. I shouldn't tell you that.
Tell me what?
Oh no, nothing.
Is it about Eddie?
It's things you don't need to hear about what happened to Eddie. That's for sure. I just have. Hold on. So, Janos gets up.
I need to know.
And he says, hold on. And he gets up, and he walks over, well, actually goes down to the area where Harold is for a short while. I mean, you could try to follow him or whatever. I guess he would call back, stay up there, because he knows what had happened.
Okay, yeah. Who's Harold? Is Harold nice?
Yeah, I know, right? He's really cuddly.
I love you. Oh my god! And your character is dead. It's dead.
Yeah, your character's going to be dead. Harold's in the skin-eating moods. No, anyhow. So, he disappears for what feels like a long while. And just before you get the urge to, like, really get up and go check on him...
No, she stays there and kind of mopes a little bit. She's basically just kind of...
Oh, yeah, you did just hear your friend died.
Yeah, so she just kind of sits there and kind of looks down at the floor and is saying things to herself like it's my fault.
And he said when he returns, he seems much more animated and alive. And he says, all right, so your friend Eddie, he's, do you know what happened to the imposter that took him?
I killed it.
He goes, this is going to be difficult then. He seems a lot more collected for some reason. And also affable, but whatever. Anyhow, he says, alright, well, unfortunately you killed it. This would make it more difficult, but I am capable of making a duplication of your friend Eddie.
You could
but I do need to get a yes, but I don't think you'll understand how this is. I'm literally just going to copy his mind and put it in a body.
That's better than not existing at all.
Make that body the suit. But yes, your friend Eddie is very dead. This would just be a duplication of him. But for the sake of friends and family, and even himself, he wouldn't know that he had expired.
So it would be kind of like cloning him, or something like that.
Yes. Cloning would make proper. Yes.
That's better than nothing. I really appreciate that, actually.
Alright. Well, I guess let's be quick.
So that thing I killed, it killed him.
Oh, yes. It did.
Well, I guess at least I avenged him.
Yeah. I suppose so. If you murdered it back, someone tries to kill you, try killing right back, huh?
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, I think it's my fault I came after him. If you could do something for me, I'd appreciate it.
Well, he stops himself before he says, yeah, it is totally your fault. He doesn't say that. So you're like, yeah, it is your fault that he died. Stupid bitch. No. No, anyhow, he,
Very glad he doesn't rub it in.
I know, right? Like, you know, you aren't a dumb, headstrong cunt. You could have stopped and listened and prevented a lot of this. But no. Anyhow,
Just gonna keep that to myself.
yeah, it does. But, I wish I hadn't gone and fixed him a little bit.
He's learning how to deal with it. This is...
No, he's not actually. You'll understand after a while what's actually going on, to be honest.
Okay.
Anyhow, so Janos says, all right, we got to get this done quickly then, before much transpires with the body. So it's been a short while. Let's see now. Trying to think about how we could recover a fragment. That probably doesn't need to. Thinking about how that would work through the abilities. Okay, so he's like, well, we'll need a bit of the creature. I'm sure.
Is the tattoo parlor... I mean, when I came in here, it was like on fire.
Yes. They probably already recovered it too. But we can try nonetheless. I'll give you that.
Could you open a doorway to anywhere?
He says, with reason.
I mean, could you open it to wherever they're holding the body and just grab it?
It says, I would, but that would be exposing myself to undue troubles. Or, excuse me, a lot of trouble. And he says, the easiest way to do this would just be to send something to fetch it. And it's like the dog that fetched you. I can essentially accomplish that on my own time. So don't worry about your friend Eddie. I could have them together in no time.
Okay.
But as for you...
Thank you, Janos. And,
There's no, I keep making mistakes with you. I have to work on this. So,
Mom,
he looks...
sorry if I'm difficult. I'm sorry if I'm difficult.
No, it was my fault. And he says, as you're talking to him, he does look a little less well after a while. Like, he starts, like, even though you're only talking for like 10 minutes, he starts looking rather morose. And he says, okay, well...
What about...
So, explain a lot of things too, which is why I went and got my memories. And, this is not going to take very long, to be honest. He doesn't seem to be... Like, he seems, like, as he's sitting there, to be growing more and more unhappy, is the way to put it.
Okay.
Like, there's something really weighing on him. But, it's not you that's causing him this. It's just, like, he seems to, like, stop and, like, think. And this punctuates as he talks to you.
Okay.
And he says, so, I don't know how you drew in the other. But this is problematic. The other is very, very powerful indeed. And, frankly, I don't know what help I can provide you against it. But it's best to just stay hidden from it and not interact with it in your case. If not, to flat out avoid it. But...
Well, why is the other have an interest in me?
I have no idea. I honestly don't know. There could be a plethora of reasons. The other is, well, simply put, the other is just a creature of immense capability and immense power and a very long life. And there's no way to say why it would be coming after you, why it would take interest in you, or why it would even just pursue you to begin with. Like, with the Order, they had the concern that you would slowly infest the population, and you would interrupt their supply of, what did I call it? This? I don't think I called it this. I might have. Yeah, they would interrupt their supply of this, which is essentially an energy they use. It's like harvesting fuel. Except instead of it running cars or trucks and what have you, it can essentially be used to any means that they desire it to. It's just like the cultivator you encountered, except on a massive scale.
I think there's a lot about this I don't understand. I was a little overwhelmed when I first started talking, and then other things happen. You made me forget stuff. Okay, let's start at the beginning. The cultivator. What is a cultivator?
Oh, alright. The cultivator that you encountered was trapped in its dimension. And
that's why we were falling towards the
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Pardon?
That's why we were. That's why I was underground, but I was able to fall towards the ceiling.
Something like that. Gravity is a relative concept. It depends on however you want it to be. He said, "I'd show you by shaking up this room, but frankly, I like where my furniture is."
So you can alter your own gravity if you wish.
Well, this room is mine. It is my concept.
So you're not just floating in the sky over Titanfo, you're in another dimension.
Yes. You're actually in a small pocket of me, but I ain't gonna get into the final points, and I really shouldn't with someone with a brain as easily accessible as yours.
I'm inside of you right
now. Just forget I said that. Anyhow.
Does sound a little dubious. Okay, so it was trapped.
What?
The cultivator that we encountered, it was trapped.
Oh, yes. What happened was that it accumulated too much fragmentation and become banned from reality. The world outside, and he points to the window that you'd use to look over Tampa.
Yeah.
The world outside is the one that's held together by the Order. They keep it and they maintain it. It's essentially just a farm for them, I guess. And yeah.
And they farm energy from people.
Huh?
And they farm energy from people. With this energy?
Yes. It works like this. Imagine you have a generator and it produces 10 watts. And you have something that takes only 1 watt to run. So you have these 9 watts that aren't being used. Well, that's essentially every person on this planet. Well, in this universe, I should say.
We're just a bunch of unused batteries.
Well, I mean, it's not like the Matrix. It's a little different. But, gosh, I really shouldn't have Max reference the Matrix because he wouldn't know about it. So strike that. But he says, it's not unlike a battery. Just the idea of that, you're just not using it. And you will never use it. Well, not you. You personally could. I mean, you're aware of what's going on. But
I'm starting to see things now. Like creatures that... It's like what you showed me before.
'Cause, well, like, he says, you had a bunch of parasites on you to begin with, even before the cultivator gave you its especially nefarious ones.
Her mind flashes back to the tick and the cockroaches in her apartment.
Uh-huh.
The tick. It was more than just a tick.
No. No, that was a regular tick. That's me, the DM, saying that.
Okay.
But he said, whatever. He's just like, ew, real ticks. And he says, but no. Like, you couldn't have seen them to begin with, so you wouldn't know that you had them. But there was essentially the things that feed off of you, or the collectors, I should say, on everybody. They give, they feed, I don't want to call it this, I really hate calling it this, but I don't want to call it just the energy either.
Do you want to give it another name, like instead of this? Because I find that confusing as well.
I'm going to have to call it something else. It's not this, it's VIS, this. But,
This, okay, this. This is better, this is better.
No, but I'm trying to think about what I could call it. So I just want to say psi or anything like that. That'd be stupid and too transparent. I don't want to call it essence either. That's also overused. It kills me because I'm like, I want to be original so hard, and it's like there's no way to be original.
Yeah,
ever.
as best you can. I mean, it does make the order sound like the Negaverse from Sailor Moon.
What?
It does make the order sound like the Negaverse from Sailor Moon. They're feeding off of people's energy.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna infiltrate a shopping mall and feed off of the energy of people buying our sales. Yes.
Okay.
Fuck you, Sailor Moon.
And don't be knocking on those sailors. That was
I was doing my Queen Barrel impression. That was my Queen Barrel, but it was terrible. I'll never do it again.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it was terrible. But anyhow, I'm just gonna go with psychic energy. I'll just call it what it is. And it says, everyone could dent if they knew that they had the capability to.
Dent.
Everybody could. Oh right, I haven't explained denting to you. All right, so he says, essentially, the reality you're in is a very, very rigid structure, and you can go against it. You can create things out of it that are fantastic and beyond thought, but it's prevented by the nature of the rules of this reality, which are in themselves a construct of the order. Back in the day, chaos threatened to overrun and destroy everything when everybody had access to the ability to dent. And so order sought to order, I should say. Order was established by removing the ability for everybody to freely do as they wish with their powers.
So is this like back in like the Dark Ages when we were talking about wizards? Warlocks, people could actually...
No, this goes way before that. This is about the inception of your universe.
Oh.
He says, yeah, it was quite a while ago, but it wasn't that bad. Not. No, he doesn't say that. He wouldn't say that at all. He actually, there's a reason why I forgot. But anyhow, so he says, alright, well, that aside, the cultivator was trying to defragment itself by feeding off of y'all and me, but...
Wait, fragment. What is fragmentation? Does that mean you're trapped in your own dimension?
When you fragment, you lose your connection to reality, he says simply. You stop being able to involve yourself in reality, and for a cultivator, well, that would just be the end of it. It would be stuck in its own realm, unable to feed, unable to find new prey.
So... Okay. But, like, before... I mean, what are cultivators? What would it do before it was fragmented?
Well, she was probably just a regular denter like you or I, and she slowly became detached. and fragmented off by abusing her abilities inside of reality. Reality has a way of self-correcting, and if you abuse your denting or just powers in general in reality, it could slowly accumulate to the point where you're expulsed from it, and permanently.
And it's the Order that makes this decision.
What'd you say?
It's the Order that makes this decision.
No, actually, it's funny. That's why I said Vox Populi. That's Latin. It means the voice of the people. Long ago, humans, they just gave up. They wanted safety far more than they cared to fight the chaos or anything else. And yes, this led to a lot of problems as denters were forced out of reality, and even the silence, which was... He stops and he takes a long, slow draw of breath, and he recollects himself over some memory. He says, they had a way of dealing with it. Reality is theirs. It just is. This reality, this whole universe is theirs. And they can do what they wish with it. And so, upon having to deal with the renegade denters and so forth, they decided to just put everything on pause until they could.
So, ordinary people, their perception of reality, they're kind of refusing to deal with the crazy, prevents monsters or people with crazy powers from just running rampant.
Yes, that and the Order for anything that gets beyond the human mind, if it's clever enough to hide and obscure itself.
All right.
But it's about that simple, I suppose. A little bit more to it than that.
So denters are people that can bend reality to their will.
He says yes. I would definitely be considered one of them.
And I'm a denter too, or I have the potential to be? Is my ability to cease this stuff that it?
Everybody has potential to be. Like I said, they're all batteries because they're not using that energy. But it's because of the fact that you've been, well, unblinded. And the Order isn't without sympathy if you're willing to help them in their cause. But I don't see any worthwhile endeavor in it. To me, it's just bizarre that so many would give up their freedom just for the opportunity of safety. Though I do remember the chaos.
Well, I mean, I'm not terribly impressed with the Order because they tried to kill me and Doug.
The Order was just going to exterminate you. Do you have the ants in your yard? Do you mind when you have to, like, well, I don't know if you have a yard actually, but he says, when you encounter roaches, do you think about stepping on them? Do you think, like, oh, this roach has a wife and a kid?
No, I guess I understand that, but if I'm the roach, then I don't appreciate being stepped on.
And it's like, additionally, you're no longer putting out energy for them. So you have no real place in their field.
Yeah, I still think they don't go fuck themselves.
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
Anyhow.
So, that monster lady, the cultivator, she was a denter who became a monster. Is that what cultivators are? They just become monsters after a while? They go crazy for their powers?
No, that was just what kind of thing she was. At the end of the day, if you get stuck outside of reality and you thirst for it hard enough, you'll find ways to pull people in.
So that's how she pulled me in.
Yes. Well, she had something I wanted.
So why? So you went to her?
Well, I thought I could get past her.
Why did you get involved with her in the first place?
Oh, no, I wasn't involved. I was trying to get something she had, and that's it.
Well, what did she have?
So the curiosity is an interesting trait. She had something I wanted. I don't understand why it's so important for you to know. Also, as a DM, I'm sitting here being like, God, what did I come up with?
So
anyway.
in game, Janos is all like, you don't need to know that. Out of game, it's like, what did she have? Son of a bitch! Damn it, Peeler.
Yeah, no, I have been thinking about why he was there far too long.
Yeah.
For considering how relatively powerful he is.
I mean, out of game, I was thinking about why the fuck he was screwing around with her in the first place.
All right, there is a reason she did have some sort of relic or something that he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of its purpose yet. You know what I put on his character sheet for
what?
His ability in occult?
For his what?
He has a specialty in occult. Guess what his specialty is?
What?
MacGuffins. I couldn't.
The Wendigo had the briefcase from Pulp Fiction.
What?
The Wendigo had the briefcase from Pulp Fiction.
The briefcase from Pulp Fiction.
How'd they get it away from John Travolta?
He sold it off.
Oh no.
Anyway. No, it's. I don't want to just say nothing or tell you what it is and have to change it later, but it does have relevance. I just haven't figured out how I'm going to work it in.
Does he like give me a non-answer for the time being, or do you want?
He gives you a non-answer. He's like, "Well, that's for me to know."
All right, fine. She rolls her eyes. Keep your secrets.
Anyway, Actually, I do have a reason why he was there. He was told to go there. I can't reveal that just yet.
Okay.
Anyhow.
Okay.
So
how does the other factor in?
It's really hard to understand the other because it's just so beyond human. Some say it's a branching of chaos, to where eventually chaos will resemble a sampling of order if you give it enough time, or if it has enough just will to exist. And others say that, the others, not the others say, but and it's also been said that the other is just a natural phenomena of itself. And really, there's just no understanding it from my end.
I mean, that idea that it can become order in some form, I guess that kind of makes sense to me. It's kind of like the yin and the yang. It sounds like something my mom would talk about.
The what?
The yin and the yang, from like Taoism.
Yin yang. Okay.
Yeah. My mom always says there's a balance to everything.
Things is requiring balance, then yes. But
I mean, my folks are kind of people, but.
Personally, I've never found much in the way of order amongst reality.
I've never really noticed much of it myself. Alright, so the order. So what you're saying is the order's after me. And so, like, no matter what, they're going to send
monsters. Doesn't care about you anymore. They are somewhat, what should I say, stingy with their energies. So, if they're no longer detecting that you have these malevolent parasites that you could spread around, they probably won't follow you. And also, they are somewhat lazy. Like,
they're
that is
cops.
one of the... What?
They're cops, of course. Eating the donuts, sitting around.
I should have made them even remotely related to cops to avoid having cop jokes.
Yeah, you're not too lazy to kill me. Gotta eat that, drink that coffee, and eat those donuts.
Make racist comments.
I could trace that crook, but I don't care. All right. Well, the order doesn't care about. The order doesn't care about me, but the other is going to keep sending monsters.
Listen, I'm making dialogue here. I'm giving you exposition.
I'm sorry.
But he says the order isn't omniscient, nor is it omnipresent. It's like they come across things the same way almost average people come across things. And it's because it's sort of how they keep up the entire facade of reality, is that it is just as dull as possible. They're just in the background.
Okay. Well, but what about the other? The other's going to keep sending monsters after me for some reason, right?
It's because he can. The other has these things at his disposal.
And we don't know why. I mean, it went after Eddie. Is it going to go after, like, my friends and family? Or is it going to...
That is a definite possibility.
I mean... Is there anything I can do? Do I just, like, fight it, or... I mean, fight it. I mean... maybe it's something I did. I mean, do you know someone named Subsist?
What?
Do you know a woman named Subsist?
I've seen one of her performances, yes.
Okay. Well, I tried contacting her, and she said she was going to help me, and then she never wound up contacting me.
Oh, that sounds like her.
Bitch owes me for $2,000.
And he says, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's unfortunate. But it's not like she needs the money. Gosh, I've been wondering how you found her. She's probably perturbed that you found her more than anything. People don't like being found.
Well, I was kind of desperate. Yeah, but I mentioned the order.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, there's something else. I don't know if it's safe to bring it here, but I got some weird message. That's how I knew that they captured Eddie. There's one message that came before, like, that monster. That was really weird. I mean, I don't know if it's safe to play it here. Do you want to listen to it?
It says it's probably just electrical disturbance from the thing being around.
Yeah, it says
reality doesn't take well to the foreign bodies in it acting.
Okay. Alright. So he doesn't want to... He doesn't want to listen to it?
He's surmising what it could be.
Okay. She plays the first message, that was like the big screeching weird noise.
Yeah, he says that sounds like just usual disturbance you get from having a lot of magnetics around stuff, which is usually how these things manifest. Is when you warp reality, and he gestures in the air and makes like a light appear, like a small light.
Okay.
And he said, here in the gaps, this causes nothing to happen. I just have light appearing. And this is photons. And he starts talking just straight up fucking particles here.
Mm-hmm.
It's just me manifesting photons. And it's like reality, on the other hand, needs to have a reason for these things to exist. It needs to have something to emanate them. It needs to have something to conserve energy, the full process of all the laws of thermodynamics. And it's like that in itself is just literally chains upon the mind to prevent it from doing whatever it feels like inside of reality. And it says, in this upheld belief that, reality has to work this way, you need to have these steps to produce light, and then he just closes his hand and it goes away, is what makes it so hard to continue, for bending to occur in reality without there being side effects such as magnetics, sounds, other things such as just even heat.
So Order provides rules that limit us but establish them, whereas we all have the potential to do whatever, but it brings chaos.
Chaos just happens inevitably when you have the clash of two wills. So, here in my realm, I have absolute control. Well, I wouldn't say absolute. There are people that can enforce things here, but I have most of the control, I should say. It says, but the fact of the matter is when you have millions of people overlapping one another with their thoughts, you get this dissonance and chaos that, you get a den, I should say, D-I-N, not D-E-N.
you get a den of thoughts that are discordant, and that creates chaos. And there's no way to prevent it. I mean, people are going to want what they want, despite what other people want them.
Okay. I feel like interrupting this serious narrative to make a Team 4-star joke. It's like in H.B. Hayes' Escophonia Bridge. It's like Doran Kirk's explanation for the zone of wishing and all that. It's like a bunch of people want to have peace. They'll, as long as one person wants to have war, they'll still have war.
Yeah.
So.
Kind of like that.
But the only thing that we people can agree on is a delicious sandwich. So.
I hate just bald-face exposition like this, too. I was trying to work it into the game, and, have very few exposition points.
Yeah, but see, now she needs answers. Now she's like,
Yeah,
she's
now you've avoided all the exposition points to the point where I actually have to have regular old spoon-feed-it to you exposition.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, she's basically...
Thanks,
she's at the point
you make
she
me
needs
uncomfortable as a writer.
I mean, this is... Well, okay, look, this is happening several chapters in, though, so we've had the setup, so now this is the explanation. This is fine.
Okay.
This is fine.
And we're starting in the second chapter, I get it.
Yeah, second to last chapter, like Oliver Twist, he explains all the mysteries relating to Oliver. It's okay. Explains Smite and his purple lips.
I hate the fence. Alright, anyhow.
So. Okay. And we don't know why this thing's happening.
No, he doesn't have a clue.
I mean, how did it find me? I wasn't careful when I was trying to get myself cleaned, or did it notice me before?
It probably has ears inside of the order. Like I said, it's not just a singular mind or anything. Or I didn't say that. It says it's not just a singular mind or anything like that. Order is a group. It's an affiliation. And there's people that believe this and that amongst there as well. But they still mostly all believe that they should have the power and not the general masses.
I mean, I guess I just can't go back to my working life. I mean, I'm have to looking over my shoulder.
And he says it's possible to live a normal life. It's just you have to live a very quiet one. And also not the same one you had before. But,
I mean, how can I make sure that monsters won't show up trying to kill me or, my friends and family?
It says you don't. Just like you didn't know if you were going to get a car accident before you went out on the road today or anything like that. Or you didn't know if you were going to have, food poisoning by going to this restaurant. Life is chaotic and strange. There's not much you can do about that.
But it's not like the cars are actually out there trying to hit you or the plane's trying to hurt you. Now I know something's actually trying to hit you.
And it says, I guess it's just because I live with these sort of things that it just doesn't sound that foreign. But I suppose you're right. I mean, cars don't try to hit you, that is true. It fooled me walking around New York. No. Anyhow, he says, alright, as for you living a normal life, that's probably beyond you right now. What you have to live the life you want is power. Whether it's a normal life or whatever is up to you. But
I guess if these things come after me again, I can fight them and kill them. I was pretty content with the fact that I might die tonight, and I guess that's what kept me alive.
It's a lot easier when you can just escape their vision. And that's why it's just you getting your own gap.
How do I even make this?
And he says, well, I mean, not everybody can make them. Some people have to rely on others. Most people aren't as mentally creative, I should say. But, I could probably set you and Doug up with something that I'm not using.
Okay. Thanks again.
And he said, no, this is I should have had a better temper with you.
Look, I'm sorry about what I said. But I
he says, "Hold on a minute," and then he gets back up, and he leaves the room to that room he went to earlier.
She starts thinking. She starts thinking about all the things that happened to her today. She's like,
Okay.
wait a minute. Then she waits for him to come back.
Okay, he comes back. He's looks like his normal self as you first met him. He doesn't seem stressed or anything like that.
Something else happened when I was on my way back home, getting ready to fight that thing. I felt like something was calling to me, so I went out into the woods and met with it. And there was something there, something in the shadows, and it told me to go into the bay. And
this is right. He says, "In the shadows." Oh, that's where she is.
it felt like a woman, and it felt weird somehow.
He says, yes, that was Dempha. Wonder why she's meddling with you.
Dempha. Well, yeah, I mean, she seemed like she was trying to help.
She probably was. She's never been malicious with me. She actually was the one that patched you up last time we had trouble.
Patch me up. You're talking about that incident I don't remember?
And he grins and he says, "Yeah, there's lots of things that I choose to forget."
Is that why my tattoos are missing?
What?
Is that why my tattoos are missing?
He says, "Yeah."
Like,
he doesn't chuckle later, but
what
he says, "Yeah."
Do you have a spinning blade trap around here somewhere?
No, I don't have a wood chipper or anything like that. I was trying to have your parasites removed by a organism that is very, very aggressive when startled.
I take it got startled?
Yes, you screamed at it. It didn't appreciate it. Anyhow.
Oh.
Yes, Dempha did patch you up, though. So that's probably why she's aware of you now. It's just shocking that she'd go out.
What, leave her gap?
Be in reality. Like, that's actually a place she rarely wants to be.
Well, she said she only liked to go out at night. She didn't like to be out during the day at all.
He just sounds thoughtful for a minute, like he's actually considering it. He says, Dempha's a strange character, a mystery to even me, so I couldn't tell you what her machinations are.
Well, before I went and fought the imposter, you called it, I tried going to the bay, and I looked into it, and it looked really calming initially. But then, while I got closer to it, I started getting scared, and I couldn't make myself go in.
He says, I realized what's going on.
What does he say?
He says, I have no idea what's going on there. I could probably scry what it is, but I'm not in the mood for it.
Do you think I should go for a swim in the bay?
He says, he's more of his original personality back, by the way.
Yeah.
He's about the same level of kind of jerk there. Yeah. So he just said, care less what you do with your time, to be honest. But, he essentially just says it that way. He's like, I really don't care what you try to do, or whatever, but, for...
Do you think it'll help?
I don't know what it's doing for you, so no, I don't know if it'll help or not.
Okay.
Doesn't know, he just shrugs. He's like, I mean, I doubt she wants to kill you, and it sounds like a very ineffective way to do it by having you to go take a swim.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's something you probably have to get in contact with her about. But if she's around, find her.
Well, okay. I'm not sure what to do from here.
Says, well, first of all, clean yourself up, get some rest, probably.
I mean, is my house even safe?
It may be, but I don't think so. Not for the time being. The other also not welcomed inside of reality, so it rarely lingers there. So even its forces, well, the other could do as it pleases, I should say, but its forces or whatever it uses to get its wills done, that can't linger for long usually because of the fact that it's so apparent. So it has to go back to its gaps before it's permanently picked out. Essentially, what I'm stressing here is that it's like a time limit. Things that are especially non-realistic can't exist in reality for long.
Okay.
Alright. But, anyhow, Janos, gosh, how long have we been talking? Get a time on this.
Okay. It's up to an hour and 50 minutes. The first 50 minutes of that was us bullshitting, however.
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
I'm thinking because
I don't want to impose on you, but could I sleep here?
Oh yes. No, he says that's fine. No, my main problem right now is that I'm trying to figure out, because I had Doug's character that I was going to be working through stuff with.
Yeah.
And like what's going on with him right now, as he has to deal with Agus.
Agus?
That
the stone thing.
Yeah.
You got to do a solo session with him, basically.
No, not precisely solo, but like, you know, he just essentially has to appease that thing. But yeah.
All right, so he said I could stay at her in his gap for a little while.
Yes. The other problem is that you maybe do like fucking literal straight up exposition, which makes me incredibly uncomfortable. Yeah. Like, oh man, as a writer, it's something I avoid. Is literally someone being like, "Stardate, blah blah blah. These are the voyages, the Starship Enterprise. We've been circling the Romulan system." And I'm just like, oh.
Fuck. As a Star Trek fan, I love that shit. I love that terrible intro.
The fucking direct intro, jump cut to fucking bridge.
Captain, the Romulans are hitting us. We got to do a Star Trek game.
Dude, if we play a Star Trek game, we're only gonna play. No, we should play STO and just be like, imagine if this was good. The whole game is just us sitting there playing STO. I have a friend who played that game.
The original series is Oh, you talking about Star Trek Online?
Yeah, STO.
Okay. Star Trek Online's awesome.
Like, how to make this good? All it would be is just me sitting there talking about how they could fix this fucking game.
I know.
For one, spaceship combat should be faster. Oh my god.
Yeah. Oh, I remember you used to bitch about Star Trek Online all the time. I love Star Trek Online, but it's been like they've been steadily improving it for the entire time it's been out. But let's not get off topic.
It's not dead. Yeah. So back to the game. You ask Janos if you can stay. He's like, yeah, I have a room for you, I suppose.
I guess the other thing I should probably do is make sure my family's okay. I got a bunch of sisters and dad.
He says, you'd be surprised how much of reality you can overlap.
What do you mean?
Well, look at your phone.
Yeah, look at my phone.
It's got signal.
I can just call them?
And he says, yes, if you can receive photons to look in on reality for where I'm at, you can receive a few other things. But yes, you can give him a call, I suppose. I will show you to a room where you could do that with more ease without me being around.
She gets up to go and then looks at her phone a little bit closely. Is it safe to call?
Your family?
I mean, the other managed to call it on my own.
He says, I can't possibly begin to understand how they work, is all he says. It's just like, whether or not they start calling you or, give out your number to a bunch of would-be Ethiopian princes, I can't say. But
I mean, if we have technology and that's how that works, imagine what a creature like the other could do with magical technology.
Magic tech.
Yeah. Dented internet. I don't know.
Dented internet. It's like dark web, except worse.
Oh my god. So much furry porn. This is too much. So many fox boys.
Oh, man. I've looked at way too much porn.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyhow.
Right. She follows him.
Sorry. Alright. Tell him what now?
Well, she just wonders if it's safe to call her family and, Shelley is coming to the realization that she might want to invest in a bird phone, essentially.
No, she said, he's like, listen, I mean, hold on. I'm thinking about what he could do. He says, oh, man, alright, and he says, you're right. It can be traced, it can be tracked, and all that other stuff. And there's ways to have it shielded and so forth. And he says, but right now, I think haste would probably be better. If you want to talk to them, do so. But, make it brief.
Okay. Now I'll check on them tomorrow.
Okay. He says, but yes, I can have you a room pretty quickly here. And, just opens a door. And on the inside, it looks like it's to, like, a different time zone than the one you're in, because it's still night.
Mm-hmm.
And it should be, like, early morning by the times you're projecting on your watch, or on your phone, I should say. Who has watches?
That's right.
Anyhow.
My dad does.
I know, old people love watches.
Yeah.
They keep trying to get me to them, and I'm like, why the fuck would I wear 2 timepieces? Your watch
yeah, you
is
kids and your cell phones.
Your kids and your phones that do everything, like replace watches.
They're making the watch industry fall apart.
No, they keep telling me it's a status symbol, and I'm like, what? That I don't understand how a phone works?
I need less shit on my wrist, thank you.
Yeah, I know.
I always break my watch because I wind up like tapping it against something.
I had a nice Fossil watch for like 3 months, and then I went to a mosh pit, and I immediately snapped it off my hand. So I'm like, okay, I'll put it in my pocket. Wrong idea. Not only is it just like literally just uncomfortable as hell having a watch in your pocket, like I put it in my cargo pants pocket. By the time I got it out of my pants at the end of the concert, it was watch chunks. Like, that's all it was. It's just like the face separated from every last single segment of the link band. Like, it was just so sad how destroyed that watch was by the end of that.
What I don't like about them is the band. The bands always get break on me. But
I just destroy shit on my body. Like, I'm just used to moving with a level of force and lack of grace that if I get caught in something, like my pants, I instantly rip them if I get caught on something.
You cannot be trusted with a papoose with a child in it.
Oh, yeah.
That child will die. That child will just not make it.
If I was ever pregnant, there'd be so many miscarriages.
You would be the worst kangaroo. Like, just don't put the baby kangaroo in my pouch. It's just no.
It's a dead kangaroo.
You are the worst marsupial.
I would be. That is guaranteed.
Yeah. Alright, so he takes her to the room, and,
yeah, he opens it, and it's just like a regular room.
Yeah.
And it's like dark out, so you're like, oh, where is it? And he's like, oh yeah, they don't have any. They had they're like, I checked Travato, and this hotel in Nevada doesn't have any patrons in it. No, but I'm joking. He doesn't say that. He says, yeah, I just got an unused room.
Okay.
I'm gonna,
Dark so I can sleep.
I wouldn't say the bellkeeper's theorem or anything like that. Not the bellkeeper, the bellhop.
Yeah.
Well, there's this idea to describe infinity, and it's talking about if you have a hotel with infinite rooms, you can fit infinite patrons. So no matter what number comes in, it'll always be the number you need plus one.
Yeah.
And it was an interesting concept because it was talking about how you can open up rooms just by having people switch out rooms. If you have an infinite number of people come in, you have every second person move over to the next room, to the next even room, and you'll make, essentially a new infinite number of rooms for an infinite number of people to inhabit.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty fun stuff. It's just a thought experiment, but nonetheless.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's like, yeah, I have rooms.
Okay. All right. Well.
Cool.
Yeah. So I don't think we got off to the right start. But, thanks for everything. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Shrugs is like, don't thank me yet. I mean, I still got you into this mess.
Okay. Well, I mean, you've done a lot to try to help us. So, thanks.
Oh, right. No, he's not supposed to be as cordial. I'm sorry. I keep playing him off nicer than he is. He's, at the moment, incomplete.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be a little dickish, so I'm going to say he says it a little dickishly. Like, you can't understand how he's nice 1 minute, like a few minutes ago, and now he's back to being a bit more abrasive and distant and cold. But he's just like, okay. Just like, I'm trying to, like, just not make him Sheldon Cooper. Ugh. Okay. I would shoot myself if I made a fucking character from Big Bang Theory.
Having dealt with him before and how abrasive she's kind of used to it and just figures that this is just how this guy is. And she's not sure about why. I mean, I think he made a comment that he's not used to human emotions, I believe. Like when the first time she went to his loft, he said something to the effect that he doesn't understand human emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Or human, mannerisms. He's like cosmically autistic, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Doctor, but not as dumb. I'll explain it here just in case anybody wants to know. Do you want me to explain it?
Yeah, go ahead.
You know, you can take away.
Does not know.
Hold on. You know, you can take it. How he can take away your memories.
Yeah.
He can do it to himself too.
Oh God, he's Job from Arrested Development.
What?
He's Job from Arrested Development. Just been taking forget-me-nows. He keeps roofing. He keeps. Okay, all right. So in season 3, Michael was dating Charlize Theron, who was the family wound up abducting her and wound up knocking her out by accident. So Job says, "Oh, I'm just gonna give her forget-me-now." And it's a pill that you can give people if they ever see you do a magician's trick and you need to forget about it. It's part of the standard magician's handbook. And Tobias takes a look at it and he realizes this is probotrazepam. This is a roofie. And it's like, you just gave her a roofie. He's like, shut up, mother. I'll make you forget too. So he gives people roofies to make them forget when he embarrasses himself, and then he roofies himself to make himself forget the stupid things he does.
That's so fucking stupid.
It's so easy to forget.
Yeah, kidney spray so fast.
Stupid forgetful, Michael.
Essentially, yes. He just removes his memories that he doesn't want to keep, and he's got a lot he doesn't want to keep.
Oh, so this is how he deals with Lovecraft shit. He just I don't want to remember this.
That's how he deals with a lot of other shit. Like he referenced the silence. The silence is actually something you're going to learn about later.
Okay.
Because Doug has a book on it, and he's probably going to read it. You're going to have to overhear it.
All right.
So I probably should. You're going to be hearing it twice otherwise. But
essentially the silence was when everything got put on pause. He meant that literally. He was talking about how the whole of reality was left paused for probably a few centuries to the outside, or to the non. For the regular people, they didn't realize it. Time was just stopped.
Yeah.
But for the denters, I'm sorry, that were out and about during this time, yeah, they were stuck in a reality of nothing.
So they pulled a flutter budgets.
What?
They pulled a flutter budgets where they wished themselves into 10,000 years of stop time.
Kind of like that, yes.
Probably not as bad as that because they could actually move. I said, you know what it is? It's the Twilight Zone episode with the clock that you could stop reality with, but then he breaks the clock, and then he's stuck in a time stop world forever.
Yeah, something like that. Like his character, Janos lived through that though, and I always find it weird when people are like, oh, you just go crazy because you're so bored or whatever the hell. Like, no, you want to kill yourself. Like, the human mind is a voraciously hungry organism.
Yeah.
And to be stuck in, like, a world with nothing going on. And also, there's no food. You can't eat or drink, by the way. If time is stopped for those particles, they won't interact with the particles in your body.
Oh, shit, it's like Langoliers, too.
Yeah.
It's like there's no substance to the food or to the water.
Yes, it is like Langoliers.
Yeah. Or that one episode of Justice League with the Flash, Dr. Destiny makes him think that he's gone so fast that he's going to live out his entire life in a single second. And and there's nothing you can do about it.
Essentially, yes, like that.
Yeah.
And
references.
Yes. I mean, if it makes it easier to digest, references are good.
Yeah.
Like, this is why it's always annoying to try to write stuff, because people are like, oh, you mean like with blah blah? And I'm like, yeah, kind of, but not just...
Here's the thing, though. You take it like a compliment, because, like, people make a connection, like, oh, I saw that done in something else, and it was cool. That's the way I would like to
connection. Like, it always annoys me when people reference stuff off of something I'm talking about. Not like, I want to be hipster and original, blah, blah. No, it annoys me because the fact of the matter is you're going to have really just no control about how their brain connects to it anymore. So if you're trying to create a horror scenario, and you're like, yeah, and then his teeth fall out of his face. So like, oh, like in Beetlejuice. And it's like, yes, that comedic scene that has the guy running from his severed or his removed teeth chomping around on the ground is entirely what I want to reference in the middle of a horror scene.
I feel like it matters with how you describe it. I mean, if your teeth are falling out, I would assume it's like because you have super leprosy. Goodbye, teeth, and it's not like a matter of your teeth are alive and chattering. It's a matter of your teeth have fallen out of your head. You're dying. And to be fair, Alan Lateman in that situation was a ghost, and thus he had chattering teeth that could still move.
What?
Well, Alan. It's Alan. Alan from Beetlejuice is Alan Maitland. Maitland's his name. He was a ghost, and so thus once the teeth came out of his head, he could still talk with the teeth. And it's a comedy. And
yeah.
And I think I'm missing the point. Anyway,
probably.
Yeah. All right. So he leaves after he says, "Yeah, sure, right?"
Yeah.
All right. So she sits down on the bed, and she's gonna call her mom.
Okay.
And I don't actually think I put it into my backstory where the parents actually live, or the sisters. Yeah. I'm leaving that to you, Dungeon Master.
I'm gonna have them move, like people do. But how old will your be? That would help this a lot.
I'm 23. They're probably
relatively young then. They wouldn't move yet. They would probably
They are hippies.
be...
I wouldn't be surprised if they were in a commune.
Yeah, they could be in Dakota.
Yeah. Okay.
Not Dakota. Colorado.
Okay.
Guess why?
Oh God. Jim Jones.
What?
I'm gonna have to fight the FDA.
Oh God! Fight the FDA. Oh man.
Oh, you're killing me.
Yeah.
All right. Our paramilitary FTA.
Okay. Yeah, she calls up her mom.
Yay, call mummies. I'll pick up. Oh, shit. Hold on. Let's see. Yeah, so it would be like 4 in the morning for them.
Does she realize it would be 4 in the morning?
Yeah. I mean, probably not, because you would be distraught from Eddie dying.
Yeah, she calls.
Yeah, so your character would be less likely to concern herself with that because she'd be raw and emotional.
Yeah.
But yeah. So you call your mom. You get the really, like, hello, someone's very tired
Do
talking.
you need notes on my mom and my dad again?
What?
Do you need notes on her father and mother?
Your mom is a patron. Your dad is kind of a old, had money from money kind of guy who lost it.
Yeah, or like gave it up to be a hippie. He has 11 close friends that can be relied upon. Mom is a nymphomaniac, an insomniac. Oh, she'd be up anyway. She has shyness around men. She's an anarchist, a political activist, absent-minded, and a know-it-all. And her patron is a wealthy shipbuilder. There's like some weird love triangle going on with the two of them. And
I mean, weird enough hippies to have a threesome marriage.
yeah.
But nonetheless, go on. You're polyamorous.
And she may not be married to the dad. Yeah, she says hello.
Mom would be up, so yes.
Yeah. Hey, Mom. How's it going?
Oh, hey, honey.
Hey,
I'm surprised.
Well, I figured you'd probably be up. But is everything all right over there? Is like, how are things? How are you and Dad?
So no, everything's fine.
Okay. Has anybody weird shown up, like looking for me?
No, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm all right. I just wanted to make sure you're okay.
All right. I'm just gonna make sure you're all right. I love you, baby.
I love you too. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Okay.
Okay. Get some rest. You don't need to be up all night. Only one of us needs to.
All right. Get some sleep if you can.
All right. Good night, honey.
Good night.
Love you.
Love you too.
Got you. Shelly belly.
All right.
There we go.
All right. I'm wondering if I should call the sisters.
You probably could.
All right.
Crap, I haven't named your sisters.
Neither have I.
We're gonna name one Anita. I'm just gonna tell you now. Anita.
Do we want to make the older sister Anita?
What? No. I was just joking about Anita because I was gonna make Anita jokes.
Anita Sarkeesian?
No. Now it's dead, Eddie. You've killed it.
Okay. Yes. Good. I stopped that shit before it even started. But all right. So we got the older sister is the one that wants to be a singer. What's her name?
Wait, what did your sister want to be?
She's the 28-year-old sister who loves to sing and wants to be a professional singer.
Oh, wants to be a professional singer. Alright. Let's see, your name's Chelle. That's not a very common white people name. They might have named your sister something else uncommon.
They're hippies.
Nora?
Nora, okay. Alright, I call Nora.
Okay. She also answers tired. I'm gonna say she doesn't live with either of y'all. She doesn't live in Florida either. She lives probably in... Gosh, she wants to sing. There's only 2 places to go, Nashville and Cali. Probably New York. She could be in New York.
Okay. Alright, so she's in New York. So it might be night for her.
It's actually really early in the morning in New York, so...
Alright, Nora?
So yeah, she picks up after a while. She sounds tired. Like, oh god, Joe, what time is it?
It's kind of early. I'm sorry to be calling. I just want to make sure. Are you okay?
Oh, what? Yeah, something up.
Well, no. I was just wondering. Did anybody weird? Have you seen anybody weird come around looking? Anything unusual happen?
Ah, God, Chelle?
Or anybody
Are
asking
you,
about me.
do you owe somebody money?
No. Not exactly. But...
Alright. Jeez. Alright.
Don't worry about me. Did you see anything unusual?
No. I've just been having my usual go at things. I've been up late. I had to understudy for this one bitch.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's... Oh, I didn't tell you. Oh, I got the part. I've been cast in that role for Hamilton.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. Well, not understudy still. The last understudy, she got sick. And so I'm the understudy's understudy, if that makes sense.
Oh, that's really cool, though. That's awesome.
Yeah, I was hoping someone breaks a leg, I guess. I'm going to say it with meaning this time.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in the show, get me tickets. It doesn't matter the role-playing game. Everyone loves Hamilton.
Everybody loves Hamilton.
We Dungeons and Dragons. It was like, all right, laddies, we were fighting the dragon. Hey, everybody, the dwarf got Hamilton tickets. Hamilton tickets, let's go.
Dwarf got the dragon Hamilton tickets, too. So this entire thing was about, and no one knew the entire time. Just with his little fucking binoculars over his eyes. I understand why they downplay his cheating. Oh, it's cheating. I know the moral fabric of society is fraying on the edges. Anyhow,
I'm gonna get fragmented. Okay, so yeah. All right, I tell her like I'm sorry I woke her up. I just want to make sure she's all right.
I think you're the middle sister. Do you have 3 sisters or 2?
I have 4 sisters.
4. Jesus Christ!
The first youngest is the goth daughter. Then there's the second youngest, who's kind of a bitch, and then the youngest is the nerd girl.
Wait, so you're the second oldest?
Yes.
Oh God, it's a lot to keep track of. I have to kill your sisters. I'm sorry.
You. Oh no! Thank you, Central Casting, for giving me a complex backstory.
And
so, but yeah, she basically tells her, "Hey, I'm sorry I woke you up, but I just want to make sure you're right." So,
no problem, Shaw. It's my fault. I've been keeping in contact. As long as you're okay.
Okay, yeah. I'll talk to you later. Okay.
All right. See you, Shelby.
All right. See ya. Bye. Shelby.
Bye.
Oh, yeah, wacky. All right. So the first youngest sister is the goth chick. If you want the notes on her,
you're gonna go directly to voicemail with her.
Okay.
Youngest sister is literally a millennial, so she would just be like, "Oh yeah, phones can be muted at night."
Yeah, she's 21. Do we have a name for her though?
So you have Nora, Shelley. Hold on, let me write down names really fast since I'm coming up with them. Gotta get your mother's name too. So go into my players folder, and then I gotta go to Shelley's fam. New folder. Rich text document. Oh yes. Shelley's family. Let's see now. So you're the Star family.
Yeah.
Star Forces of Evil.
Which is
which
is probably like a name they gave themselves.
Shelley. I'm gonna go to Lindsay in here because fuck it, Lindsay.
Is Lindsay the first youngest, the goth chick?
No, she's the third oldest.
Yeah, that's the goth chick.
There's 5 of you. No, I thought you said the youngest was the goth chick.
No, the third oldest is the goth chick. The youngest is the nerd girl.
Oh, okay. Well, Lindsay will be the second oldest.
Yeah, and the second youngest is the bitch.
Goth chick need a special name. Second youngest is a bitch?
Yeah.
Lindsay's a bitch. Okay. So, goth girl. What could I name her? No. I already have a Nora. What was the name of some of the goth chicks I met? Sherry? Sherry. Yeah.
Okay.
With an I.
Lindsay's the bitch.
The bitch. And the youngest one will be
Emma? Nah, maybe. I don't mind Emma. Oh, you know what? I'll name her Emily. There we go.
You named her what?
Emily.
You named her Emma?
Emily.
Emily, okay. Alright. Alright, what's my mom's name?
I will figure it out in a minute, because I'm still getting the parents.
Okay.
Sisters. Alright, parents. I feel like Robert is in there.
Okay.
So I'm going to have someone in. And your mother's name would be another semi-unique name. Gertrude? No.
By the way, my dad calls himself Bob.
Okay.
Because he's a fun-loving hippie. So he's Bob.
Okay. I'm going to ask about Edith.
Edith?
No, Edith is a really old name. That's like from the 1940s.
I'm thinking about calling her Fluttershy. Because I just have a feeling that's her personality.
Shut your whore mouth, Fluttershy. you don't talk about my favorite pony. No. Let's see.
We are trying to court the furry audience. It was like, yeah, my mom's a Fluttershy. She's a freak.
The furry audience and the cloppers are different, okay? There's lots of self-respecting furries that would never be caught dead clopping. There's a lot of cloppers that never be caught dead being.
How do you explain the My Little Pony movie where they spend a lot of time with a beautiful, beautiful cat boy?
A beautiful what?
There's a beautiful, handsome cat boy that takes all the ponies back to his apartment to explain to them the concept of gift.
I don't know how to explain that, man. I mean, it's a fucking cartoon about talking fucking ponies
If a
trying to have.
If a pony fucks a cat boy, is it clomping or yiffing? I need to know from a friend.
Is it Davis?
No, yes. Or I need to rip off the Dishonored Wolf.
I'll find somebody. I think it would be considered yiffing.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Alright. So my mom's name is Fluttershy.
Shut up! I'm trying to figure out your mom's goddamn name.
Fluttershy.
I can't actually phone things. No. I'm gonna call her Michelle.
Michelle?
Let's see. No, your name's Shelley. That'd be weird.
Yeah, that's kind of my character's name.
Julie?
Julie.
Yeah, Julie.
Okay. Alright. I'm sorry, audience, for taking time out of this in order to fine-tune my backstory.
You know what's funny? Someone tried to name their kid Nutella recently.
In Nutella?
Nutella.
That's terrible.
I know. Like, could you imagine eating a girl out named Nutella and then coming up disappointed?
Mmm.
Especially if you eat ass.
Oh. Then you're really eating Nutella. All right, so Sherry, it just goes to voice message. I leave a voice message, and I ask her to call me back, and just want to make sure she's all right.
Sherry would answer.
Yeah. So since everyone hates
Lindsay and Emily would probably let it go to voicemail.
She calls Lindsay last because everyone hates Lindsay in the family. So
I'm gonna put the bitch next to her name.
Yeah. Yes. I'm actually
Sherry.
Yeah.
Man, I feel like this is gonna be like NCIS. We're gonna hate the fuck out of Sherry by the end of this.
Oh God.
But I have fond enough memories of fucking a goth chick named Sherry, so that'll overlap it.
Yeah. Oh, so she's gonna be like that NCIS chick from. That's where you got the name Sherry?
No. Sherry is the name of the chick I was banging back in the day.
Okay.
Anyhow. Like, I knew a few goth girls, but, like, lots of the industrial girls were obnoxious, so, yeah.
Okay. Alright. Anyway, she calls Emily. Emily, it's a voice message. She says, hey, just give me a call when you get a chance. Same thing.
Is Emily looking the cam girl stuff?
No, Emily's the youngest. She's 19, and she's just a nerd. She's
Oh,
here are
right.
her notes. She's 19 years old. She plays video games. She's a
If
nerd girl.
she might be up. I mean, she could be up all night doing things.
All right. Well,
She's
let me do it. Does she answer?
Yeah, she would. So that is not that late of a time for a nerd. 4 a.m.
Yeah. So she's like playing League of Legends or something like that.
Yeah. How old's Nora?
Nora, I think is 20. Wait, hang on.
29.
No, Nora is 28. Nora is 5 years old.
How old?
Nora is 28. I'm 23. Sherry's 21. Lindsay's 20. And
She's 20 and you're 23.
yeah.
No, I don't have to advance ages. All right, Sherry is how old? 22.
Sherry's 21. Lindsay's 20, and Emily is 19.
Gosh, they really packed him in at the end.
Well, Mom is an infomaniac. Doesn't know how to use condoms.
It doesn't. What? There's an age gap of 5 years between you and Nora.
Yeah. Yeah, there was just a, like, the last 3 sisters, there was just like a surge of fucking in the house.
All right. You know what? You could say that Nora was the one that made them get married, then they found out they liked each other over time. Whatever.
Okay,
Anyhow,
I'm fine with that.
we'll cross that road when we pass it.
Yeah. All right, so Emily.
Yeah, you call up Emily. She's awake. She has. Does she have good taste in games? Is the question of the day. That bitch.
Well, consulting her notes, she plays video games. She's a nerd girl. She's into Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, role playing.
What? No, she's not a nerd. Like that kind of nerd. She's playing video games. She's a gamer. Anyhow, the question of the day is she playing PUBG or is she playing the other one?
She likes Legend of Zelda.
Oh, Eddie, stop inserting yourself.
Well, no, these were all stuff we established earlier. It was like, because I had on Central Casting, she had an unusual item, which was a shield. So we determined it was like a Hyrule shield.
Yeah, she has the Hyrulean shield.
Yeah, she plays a female drow assassin in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition.
Oh yeah, she's a nerd. She's not just gamer girl. Okay.
Yeah, she's a nerd.
Real nerd. I'll have to add that there. Real nerd.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so that means that if she's not a regular old gamer, that actually makes it less likely for her to be awake, so you probably would go to voicemail.
Okay, then I just leave a message and like, hey, just give me a call when you get a chance. And finally, I call Lindsay, and same thing.
Wait, did you ever call Sherry? Sherry would be awake.
I thought you said Sherry wouldn't be awake.
No, I had them mixed up.
Yeah, I called Sherry before I called Emily.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll just get Sherry out of the way. Pick up for Sherry. And Sherry's like, holy fuck, girl. It's 4 a.m. I just went to bed 3 hours ago. What do you want?
I'm really sorry. I just want to make sure you're okay.
Yeah, shit, I'm tired. Good night.
Okay. Yeah. Good night.
Good night, Chelle. Bye.
Bye. All right. All right. I'm not gonna. Yeah. I legitimately felt bad for waking her up there. Can't ask my myriad of awkward questions. Okay, we call Emily. We call Lindsay. Yeah, and I just leave them.
You do go to voicemail on Lindsay. She is also young enough, or I guess more self-centered enough to just leave her phone on mute overnight.
Okay. All right, I just asked her to give me a call back when she has a chance.
Okay.
The notes on her is that she went from being a Satanist to being a Buddhist, and then she doesn't like her family, and she's an angsty middle child. And she has a sugar daddy who's like a marquis. He's like a noble, who wants to bang her. And he's really smart but not attractive.
I mean, I could make this some sort of American rich boy, but nonetheless.
Yeah. Maybe he calls himself a marquis. I don't know.
No, he could be French, though. Of some French descent.
Yeah.
Could be DuPont. He could be a DuPont heir.
Yeah. All right, but yeah, she's checked all the Checked all the family members, make sure they're okay.
Damn it, spiders! Why do you keep crawling around my room?
Don't tell that Doxenius.
Like, I don't mind having spiders. I mind having, like, them in my room, because there's nothing for them in my room besides me. They're going to be sleeping here, they're going to crawl over my face, I'm going to slap them into oblivion. I'm going to wake up with a splattered spider on the side of my face.
Yeah.
Like, why do this?
Alright, so once she calls everybody, she goes to bed. And she feels exhausted. Well, actually, no. Is there a shower in this room?
Yes.
Like a bathroom? Yeah, I take a shower.
Yeah, you are literally in a hotel somewhere. You have no idea where it is. I mean, you can look out the window and try to place it.
Yeah, I look out the window and try to place it.
Alright. There's, like, foreign writing on the walls that you do not recognize, like, for signs and stuff.
Now I realize what you did. He literally stuck me in another, like, location on the globe. Correct?
Yeah.
All right, so she looks at and she tries to figure out like where she is. Do I have to make a roll for that?
Yeah, you can do intelligence academics.
Intelligence academics. Okay. I have one success.
You think it might be Cyrillic?
What is Cyrillic?
Well, that's just what one success gets you.
So I figure out it's Cyrillic, but I don't know what Cyrillic is.
You don't know what Cyrillic is. You're just like, this looks familiar-ish, I guess.
So I basically deduce that, like, wait a minute, this isn't Tampa.
This isn't Tampa. I'm not in Kent, or Toto.
All right, she's like, he literally put me in a hotel room on somewhere else on the planet. Kind of cool. Okay. All right. And she takes a shower.
Okay.
And then she goes to bed.
Now, how you get clothes in the morning is going to be the interesting part.
Is there a laundry room in this room?
Oh, no. This is actually a nice hotel. There isn't like, you walk outside, see the crack whores on the corner.
Well, like, is there a washing machine?
There's not a washing machine in the unit, no.
Okay. All right. Yeah. She takes a nap.
All right. Now, let's see. I will say, because of this long and sturdy, or it's not sturdy, rigorous event, that you might have some dreams, if not nightmares, to deal with. Also, a possibility of humanity loss.
Okay. Nose.
But anyhow, I'll have to decide.
I can't lose my humanity. Then I'll give in to the beast. I'll have to be put down by like a dog by the Camarilla. Wait, wrong game.
Shut up. I found out that one of the sheets I had on my computer was for the Masquerade the other day, and I was
going to ask you if Chelle dies, can I play a vampire like from Original World of Darkness?
No.
I was like thinking about playing like an anarch. Like the local anarch of Tampa wants to know what's going on. Why'd this tattoo parlor explode?
Oh. I mean, no.
Okay.
No,
Well, we gotta do Vampire the Masquerade sometime.
As of late, I've not been allowing the vampires into my games and stuff because, frankly, they just aren't that fun anymore. I guess it's because I've gotten out of my goth phase or something.
Yeah.
But
see, I'm super pumped to play a vampire game because I want to do something different than what I did before. I really want to play like a good guy anarch vampire.
Playing it, but the way I played Vampire the Masquerade back in the day with my friend,
yeah,
it's for him. Guess what? It's an action movie, but instead of Bruce Willis, it stars a vampire. And I'm just like, oh.
Yeah. Go hang out with the Sabbat. Have a few laughs.
Yes. And Han shows up and tries to steal all the diamonds.
Hans Gruber's a werewolf.
Oh, I'm sad. I read something
John
about
McClane, you stinking cop, smells of the worm.
Alan Rickman today that they tricked him to get that surprised look on his face at the end.
Yeah.
They told him they were going to drop him on 3. They dropped him on 1.
Nice.
And I'm so sad to think about Alan Rickman. He was one of my favorite actors.
Yeah.
It's just a
Lived a
tragedy.
good life and had many great roles. I think one of my favorites is, like, everybody loves him for Snape. And I'm not the biggest Harry Potter guy, but I definitely liked him as Snape. Like, for
Galaxy.
me, Galaxy Quest, yeah, by Rockthars Hammer, you shall be avenged. It's like, yeah! It's just like,
And he also had a great voice for it. He was Metatron in Dogma.
yeah. Yeah, he was Metatron and Dogma. Oh,
He's
actually,
just
I got to meet 2 of the guys from Galaxy Quest. I got to meet 2 of the aliens. Like, the guy that died, who was also in Deadpool. And,
gosh.
that was, like... No, he was... Okay, the guy that died... The Deadpool guy was a different guy, but, like, the guy... The nice guy with the big eyes who was the one that died. Like, and he said, I will avenge you. Like, I met that guy, too. And... Because they're both, like, really good character actors, and I met them at PepsiCon. They're awesome. So... But yeah. So anyway, what was I talking about? All right. Do we have to do rolls now for all that stuff?
For what? Getting a shower?
Well, no. Like you were saying, like stuff will happen to me because of the traumatic event.
Oh, I'm debating it because I'm still sitting there being like, I gave you one last time, but it felt like trumped up charges, to be honest.
Yeah.
And like. The entire idea of humanity is there's 2 things that might affect it. It's like, for me, it's like, having the outright just, what is reality being affected? And the other one is, well, what about, how they behave? And it's like your character, they weren't particularly, spiteful or selfish this round about, like, Eddie and stuff, like, there's sort of, I guess, proper empathy. But, no, I'm trying to figure out where I want to go with it.
Okay.
Because I'm trying not to just be like, tripped on the sidewalk, that's a fucking morality roll.
Yeah.
Like, that to me would just be stupid. Just removes the idea.
Yeah.
But, I also, like, your characters aren't playing murder hobos, so it works. Not do it as much.
Yeah.
Like, essentially, it was to punish murder hobos in the vampire world, who would slowly, who would rapidly actually degenerate into fucking just blood-hungry ghouls.
It's very easy to start murder hobing in vampires. Like, especially in the video games, it might as well be a joke. Like,
yeah.
That's a legitimate way to play.
Just murder hobo your way through the game.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like, what?
Well, and as much as we make fun of Oxenius, for his shortcomings, which, again, if you've met him, that's really funny because he's short. But, he's I've never known him to murder hobo. He always plays, like, generally kind of good guys. And, fortunately, Doug is a good guy, I mean, it's like he's not, even Flutterbudgets. Flutterbudgets is, like, he's chaotic neutral, he's kind of crazy, kind of wacky, but he's not really a bad guy.
I'm gonna have to kill Doug in an extravagant manner.
Well, yeah, he's self-immolation. I mean, it almost happened last time.
We're getting there.
Yeah.
We just gotta get further and further into the self-immolating.
Well, no, what we need to have happen is we need to have him, undergo some insane injury and just, act like it's nothing. Like, like that one guy from Sin City who, gets the arrow shoved at him, just, literally, impale him with, a piece of rebar. Like, how did that get there? And it's like, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. So how are you? And it's like, you have a piece of metal sticking out of your stomach. Oh, don't worry about that. So I found some rocks. And, it's...
His rock thing, man.
He really does not understand. I don't think he gets that, the point of World of Darkness is supposed to be the real world, but shittier. It's it's supposed to be, addiction means you are, into drugs.
I play it half as shitty as I should.
World of Darkness is supposed to be like Sin City.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I guess. But at the same time, my brain's like, no, don't. Because they're like telling you, like, oh yeah, the police don't come for like 15 minutes instead of 5. And like, you know, like the maximum worst possible situation. And I'm just like, yeah, that in itself is kind of pedantic. Because then it's like, oh yeah, I mean, I don't have to wait, or the cops don't come around for 15 minutes. Like, you know, I'm playing in this fucking Dick Tracy world. Like, you know, that gets kind of dull to me because, like, there's no real circumstance. Like, the circumstances that are life-threatening are almost always violent instead of being, like, the circumstances that threaten your livelihood.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's always like a grunginess to it. Like, again, like, I think one of the best examples is like playing Bloodlines, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. It's like, just like take a look at like Santa Monica. It's just like just everything's just kind of scuzzy. You know, like you got the club with the crazy, where all the crazy people and the druggies go to. You got the rundown hospital. There's one doctor on staff who's trying to like take care of a guy who's clearly dead and won't help the girl in the next room that has major stab wounds. And there's the fucking ghoul downstairs who's also a serial killer who's like draining people of blood for the vampire. And then a couple like down the street you got the scummy bail bond guy. You know, everything's just kind of sleazy. Like everything, like it's everything's like it's always nighttime and it's always like the sleaziest exploitation movie you can ever imagine. Not necessarily film noir, which is what Sin City's more about. Like, you know, it's accentuated, but it's just like, you know, the idea is just things are just kind of shitty. There's, you know,
they're not just kind of shitty. They're supposed to be straight up shitty.
Yeah.
Like all the cops are racist and, you know, they're crooked. And like, in Sin City, like this guy was actually concerned that a cop might not be crooked. And I'm like, in World of Darkness, they're supposed to be like, yep, they're all crooked. People are shooting each other in the subway. And I'm like, listen, this is just a destabilized population zone. It is literally just moments away from fracturing completely if you have it that way. And it's going to become a lawless place like fucking Escape from L.A.
Yeah.
Or The Warriors. And I don't like those sort of games. They just get boring to me because it's like there's no real consequence for being, you know, a fucking serial killer in them.
Well, you know, the consequence is eventually the vampire who's trying to find somebody to get something else done eventually kills you.
Huh? What?
I don't know if I didn't help. Well, it's supposed to be like a general idea. It's like you can kind of fall back to just realism, and you don't have. I think the trick is like you ease up on the shittiness every now and then, but then you can pull it back, and it's just a general. I don't know. It depends on like how you want to do it. Like in this one, it feels more like the real world. But like we have moments where we visit the seedy underbelly, and it's like you just like a hint of grim. A little hint of grim is fine. You don't have to pour it on thick. I did feel like when I used to play Vampire, it was overdone. It's like for fuck's sake, the world isn't that bad, and it was like, and that was it did get tiresome after a while. But like a little bit is just.
This is like, it's like going to a strip club. You only need a little bit of sleaze. If you get too much sleaze, you never go back to that strip club.
Exactly. So, you know,
too clean, boring.
Hey, Arthur Kilpatrick was the bad one. Here's the thing, like, okay, back to Bloodlines. I love Bloodlines. I love that sleazy world they created, and I care about Arthur Kilpatrick. I want to make sure Kilpatrick's going to be okay. It's like, yeah, he's kind of a slob and an a-hole, but he's not that bad. You know, I want to make sure he's all right. I want to make sure that the guy who runs the porn shop in Hollywood's okay. I get to like all the vampire characters, and it's like want to check in with them. It's like you do care about people. It's like there's humanity there.
I don't have this far. Anyhow, so as for Chelle's night, I guess it's going to wrap up with her going to bed. And that could be a good place to end, because I still have to do fucking what's going to happen to Doug.
Yeah.
All
right. Do I get a point of willpower back for sleeping?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, you're probably always going to get one unless I say you don't.
Okay. All right, sounds good. Yeah, she was drained of her willpower, but
So,
and it hasn't been a week, so I'm not getting that ag back.
no.
Yeah, so I've still got 5 ag. But everything else is good. Okay. Yeah. So I had a great time where we just shot the shit for the first 15 minutes of this, and we had a nice little quiet session where we got to explain things and figure things out, and had character development, and Chelle got to understand the world, and she's made up with Janos, so that's cool. And she kind of gets Janos now. So.
You get Yana. She doesn't understand what the hell he's done to his head.
She doesn't. No, she doesn't understand him fully, by all means. But she kind of appreciates him helping her, and it's like she's forgiven him for the stuff he did earlier, for the memory erasing, and like the.
All right.
He even apologized. I didn't handle you properly. And so I was like, well, I was a bitch too. You know?
Yeah. Everybody has to apologize back and forth. That's how you know it's a real apology. No, but okay. So I got that settled out. I guess this is the close.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess next time we got to get. I mean. Yeah, we got to. I guess we got to do like Oxenius interacting with that stone. Which I have a feeling Doug will be super happy about. So you're a stone. Yes, I'm a stone. But you're a magic stone. What's it like to be a stone? I've always wanted to know what it's like to be a stone. You are a stone, brick of a man person.
It's fine.
So, but yeah, so he'll get caught up with that. I think, like, yeah, she's going to try to... her next thing is, like, yeah, she's going to make sure her friends and family are okay, and she's probably going to go to the beach at some point. It's like she's going to try to go swimming again.
I gotta think about what I give you for the night.
Yeah.
It's always fun sitting there trying to design something that's both abstract but meaningful.
Yeah.
Like, the funny thing is, like, you know, when you do dream analysis, I don't remember. Let's see, did I do it in college? Yeah. You dream analysis inside of your psych classes, though. And it's like, okay, what does this dream mean? And these people are just trying however hard they can to, like, create some sort of connection with some bull. But attempts of Freud to explain the unconscious, when they give me fucking straight up dream translations, like not wicked, but these woo-filled dream translations where it's like, oh, you're connecting with your astral energies so you can tell the future, blah. If you have a dream about your teeth falling out, it means death. And I'm like, nah, it means brush your goddamn teeth. But
I would imagine a dream would be very particular to the person in question that's dreaming about it. It depends on your own personal experience.
Yeah, kind of.
I don't know. Yeah, you gotta watch out for that new age stuff. It's like, I don't know.
It's like I said, every like good psychics are just a successful conman.
It's true.
His attempt to find a good psychic.
Yes, that's true. Well, okay, Oxenius and I have had some private conversations about stuff like that, which probably don't need to go on the internet. But, yeah, so, I mean, and you know me, you know my backstory with stuff like that, so I have mixed feelings on the subject, but as a rule, don't trust anybody.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's just like I'm so mundane. I refuse to believe in anything that can't be given a legitimate way of proving it. If someone's just like, I have a feeling about this, and I'm like, I don't care about your feelings.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I think the more important thing is how do you feel about it?
I feel nothing.
Then it's nothing. Don't worry about it.
I was out at Homeland, which is this place out here, and it has a mass burial ground. You know what those are, right?
Yeah.
For the slaves that they had back in the day. And it's just this sad, uninteresting patch of ground with a few rocks on it out here. And my friends are like, oh yeah, people like to go out there and have satanic rituals and yada, yada, yada. You know, it's a really spooky place. Their spirits are alive and so forth. Oh, this is that fat bitch I don't talk to anymore. But yeah, anyhow. So we decided to go out there like 2 at night. So we're well past the witching hour nonetheless. Because we're like, you know, oh yeah, we're going to see if there's ghosts. And let me tell you, ghost hunting is the most boring shit on the face of the earth to begin with. Much when you're out in a field. Well, not a field, but an opening in the woods in fucking Florida where it's like, oh man, I really hope I don't get mauled by a fucking boar.
That's the real thing to be scared of.
Yeah, it's the only thing I'm scared of in Florida is fucking boar. People are afraid of the gators, don't understand why. Boar will get you. Gators won't. It takes a lot to piss off the alligators. Or it just takes being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Well, and I think the thing is people underestimate boars. They don't realize how dangerous they are. It's like
oh, pet piggy. And I'm like, oh yes, awful 400-pound fucking gore machine.
Yeah, people just underestimate how aggressive they are, and that, like, yeah, that can kill you.
And they straight up will, too. No qualms about it.
Yeah. Well, and again, you're living in redneck country, and it's like, yeah, all the rednecks are, like, you know, country folk that I've ever interacted with are like, yeah, kill on sight. They, like, don't, yeah, they, like, you know, that's just a regular activity. Yeah, we're gonna hunt boars. It's like, it's nature. It's nature. Because they can be dangerous. They're cutting down on the population of it because it's like, yeah, you know.
I'm not sure, but I think the boar was brought over by like the Spanish or the English.
Yeah.
And it's just pigs. They're invasive creatures.
Yeah.
I mean, they eat everything. They eat bird eggs. They eat fucking, you know, the roots out of trees.
Well, and you know, the hippie naturalist that I am, I'm all like, hey man, everything's got its place, man. Everything's got its place in the grand scheme of life. That said, if it's gonna come fucking charge me and try to hurt me, I'm gonna shoot it. So.
You'd be surprised how scary they can be. But
yeah.
I told you when I had to bike home every night. Not only do I have like these drug dealers trying to make me buy coke. Which I'm like, guy, how do I buy drugs if I'm riding a bike? But on top of that, I had to drive.
They're used to the people that that buy from them are riding their bikes too.
Weird. I was just like sitting there being like, dude, come on, I don't want to buy your drugs. I'm on a bike. And they'd ask me almost every night, as if my mind would change on the subject.
Yeah, because for all they know, they will. They don't give a shit. They don't hear you. They want to hear money. Money. Like, give me your money.
But anyhow, what ends up happening is like I had to ride home on this bike at 10 at night so many days of the week. And I had to ride through this long stretch of pasture. It's a back road through a pasture. Fucking middle of the night. It's swampy because, you know, Florida is like 80% swamp. Nah, it's not 80%, but it's up there. Like 40.
95.
It's swampy at some places. It's poorly lit. And all I can think about is I'm going to be fucking riding this bike, and I'm either going to get run over by some drunk redneck, I'm going to be murdered by fucking boars. And they're going to find my body if the boars don't eat it, because they probably would.
That's another thing, too. They're pigs. They eat anything.
Anything. People, bone. Oh, yeah. Give it to me.
Yeah, people wonder, like, you know, how hard it is to find a body in the woods, because shit in the woods will eat it. And on that terrifying note, I'm going to stop the recording. We'll keep bullshitting after I'm done. But, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Dread Pirate. This has been Dents, a nice laid-back session where you just chill and get some exposition going out, and some character development. This is my friend Malmodo. Malmodo, say goodbye to the peeps.
Have a good night, peoples.
All right, we'll see you all next time on Dents.